everyone, it's Murder Week. Guess what? We're talking about it.
Murder Week. What a week it's been.
As usual, you just repeat what I said.
That's what all good hosts do, I think.
Do you want to do the clickbait?
We can do some clickbait for this week. I also want to say as well, for those people who are listening on YouTube and haven't heard the beginning bit of the podcast, as of the time of recording, we haven't seen Friday's episode. We're going to talk about it later. We're going to do a bit of recording about the first 4 episodes. Then we're going to watch Friday's episode, and then we'll be able to talk about it. But of course, we already do know who the killer is. Not the killer, sorry, the victim. Sorry, we don't know that. What?
Okay.
What? What are you going to say?
Okay.
No, what are you going to say?
Yes.
Yes. We know that Theo has been killed. Yes?
Yeah. Well, you know what I think.
Gemma thinks that she doesn't want to tempt fate, but I have every faith in Coronation Street that when we went there 3 weeks ago and they on the press day and they literally showed us Theo's body there at the bottom of the, in front of Betsy, didn't they? And Alison Sinclair said, "Hey, it's Theo. It's Theo. It's Theo. It's Theo."
Mm-hmm. I want to talk about it when we get to Friday.
We will. We will mostly talk about it then. We can do some clickbait first. Has there been some good...
What's the point of not doing it first?
Has there been some good clickbaits this week?
Coronation Street's Murder Week sparks complaints as fans left feeling sick. From the Liverpool Echo. Oh, thank you, Jonathan. Again, thank you very much, Jonathan.
Is this about the wonky camera angles?
I think you'll find they're called Dutch angles, Michael.
Dutch angles?
Yes, thank you.
Why
yeah.
Is that really a thing?
Yeah, because in they're always thinking, aren't they? So they have to hold the camera.
I thought it was like, and Dutch people have got one leg shorter than the other or something.
No, it's because it's a Dutch oven. You know when you fart?
Can't believe you've lied to turn in the podcast on
so,
Murder Week of all weeks. Gemma.
When you're going to do a fart, you have to, we all know this, we all do this, lift one leg to clear the way. And so if you're holding a camera, you always have to tip it to one side.
I get it.
So the camera people, the crew, were obviously feeling quite windy Murder Week because they were nervous.
I think that this is a good opportunity to talk, as we often do from the clickbait, about the general production standards and direction and the filmic choices that were made in Coronation Street this week. I didn't mind. I quite enjoyed them. And I really surprised myself by that. Even like last week when it was promised to us that there would be a soundtrack at the beginning of each episode and Kate Brooks said, "Oh, there we go, so there's going to be a banger at the beginning of every episode." And I was like, I don't want music at every episode. It didn't bother me. It really didn't bother me. I was yesterday, Thursday, the last episode we saw, I was going, "Oh, what's the music going to be today?" And that is totally not at all like me. And I was also very pleased with myself that I think I recognised every single one. So maybe that's the only reason I'm happy with that is I wasn't made to feel stupid by not recognising a very well-known song. Well, what did you think about the music at the beginning? Did it bother you?
What? So I thought it was just Toya driving in a circle with the music.
You had you had Ladies' Night that played at the beginning of yesterday's episode, and there was what have we got?
Have you written it down?
I haven't written on Mondays down, but on Tuesdays we had Time After Time.
Where was that coming from?
I don't think it was coming... It might have been somebody's radio. There was also I Can't See Me Loving Nobody But You on Wednesday's episode. I don't remember. I think people were listening to it on the radio, but it was very, very played over the top of things, and then it turned out somebody was listening to it. Did you not even notice?
No, not really.
Well, there we go. It was fit in so fluidly that Gemma didn't even notice. What did you think? How about the different camera angles and the general semi-filmic look of this week? It wasn't... They didn't go... full Corridale on us, did they?
How could they?
They did switch the lights on in parts.
Yeah, I liked it.
Anything else to add to that, my sweet?
Oh, it made me feel sick.
No, really? What did you think?
Well, I don't care. Look.
Well, sorry, I thought the first point
I feel
of
like I'm being
conversation
interrogated.
No.
I feel like I did the murder. I don't want to say anything until there's a lawyer here. Thank you very much.
No, it was a slightly different look to it. There were, I think it was most apparent on Wednesday's episode. I think you pointed out when we were watching it, that in the Platt's house, everything was slightly angled.
Dutch angle.
Dutch angle, exactly.
And Thursdays had that as well.
I mean, maybe the first 2 episodes did as well. Maybe the angle's just been getting gradually more slanted as the week.
Today's
going to be upside down.
It's going to be sideways.
You have to tilt your head 90 degrees to watch tonight's
it's
episode.
Optimised for mobile phones.
Oh yeah, vertically.
Yeah.
That's their way of sneakily converting it to do. That honestly didn't bother me at all. They were talking a lot about we filmed this on different cameras this week. I wouldn't say that I particularly noticed that side of things. It wasn't. I thought the scene with Megan and Maggie having their confrontation on the balcony, that possibly looked a little bit more slick. I don't know.
I thought it all sounded like it was recorded underwater.
No, that was our interviews with the cast members, Gemmy, remembering those. Sorry. I had no issue with any, I think, unless I've forgotten, and I'll be reminded when the notes come up, any of the directorial or production kind of choices this week. I thought it was all right.
Can't remember. Was it Jodie? Was it see, because you asked me and I don't know, because we're not talking about it yet. We're doing clickbait.
Yeah.
But wasn't there bits in Wednesdays? Oh, which one was it? Where we were looking through David's window, and you could see the slats.
Oh yeah. That was on Wednesday's
cool.
episode.
And
there was just. I'm pretty sure that was just
the
big picture out the side. I don't think it was actually.
What do you mean big picture?
You know, the big.
No. We were looking from the outside in. Not looking.
Were we?
I don't know.
I don't remember that.
I don't know.
Are you sure you watched it this week, darling?
What show is this? I watched a show called Should I Marry a Murderer? And oh my God.
We're not talking about that. That's a different murder.
Can I just save you 3 hours?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Oh.
You shouldn't.
Shouldn't marry a murderer. Okay, well, I wish somebody had told Todd that. And he could have sold themselves a lot of bother, couldn't they? What's next? What's our next clickbait?
Who's he murdered? Who's Theo murdered?
Billy!
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
What show is this?
Usually when we record earlier in the day, it leaves us fresher and, with less clouded and foggy and I want to go to bed memories. But I don't know.
I've got a lot on my mind.
Still that bloody Pocopia, isn't it? New event going on at the moment.
I want to make a camping site. Coronation Street fans make horror. Coronation Street fans make horror Sam Blakeman prediction after Megan Walsh scenes from the Manchester Evening News.
Okay, so who knows whether this will have actually happened in tonight's episode or not by the time that we, by the time this gets out there. But I have seen a few people predicting that Sam's going to be doing a bit of murdering himself. Is that what this is related to?
Yes, Sam will kill Megan.
Sam's going to kill Megan, yeah?
See, I got a different theory. I think that Megan... See, this is interesting. We had a question on our Facebook group, which I did really appreciate because I don't mind being asked questions about how the process works for us. Because we knew 2 weeks ago he was going to die. And the question was, how do you manage to make it sound like you don't know or talk about it with enthusiasm? And number one, as you've just seen, I am incredibly stupid and forget everything. So I don't remember things. Like, for example, when we saw Monday's episode again the second time, I forgot that Todd gets out of the car and goes to get his phone, and then Theo confronts him in the street. Because when he got into the taxi, I was like, oh no, Theo's going to be driving the taxi. And obviously he wasn't, because that didn't happen. So but also I think I'm quite good at like theorising around things I already know. Because we have known things in the past we weren't supposed to know or have been told purposefully, and we can still navigate around that knowledge.
It's not very often that happens, but occasionally. No, it's not
very often. No,
very occasionally we've known things.
Yeah.
Like Jenny leaving. We knew before quite a lot of people that she was going there, so that kind of coloured slightly what we thought about what was going on there, and we had to try not to give it away. But yeah, I
can't remember why I brought that up.
I think it's worth saying people are probably quite interested to know what we actually saw at the press day, right? Because we said last week that we watched the wedding, and then there were bits of the later episodes, and it was a case of as soon as Thursday's episode ended, we didn't even see the credits of that. It faded out, and then I think was there like a black screen, and it said Monday Theo's story.
I think it
just
said Theo. I think it didn't even say what day of the week it was. It just said Theo's, and it went through all the characters.
I'm gonna say we probably saw 5 to 10 minutes of each episode, so we didn't even see half of it, but we didn't see so much that we felt like, well, we know everything that's going on now. So for example, this week We saw David getting into bed with Jodie. We saw the confrontation with Maggie and Megan up on the balcony, and we saw what's going to be happening in tonight's episode. Bits of it, tiny little bits of it.
We saw Toya slap Megan.
Yes, we saw that. We saw Toya driving round the bend in Viaduct Street 4 times like everybody else. We saw... So I'm sure as we go along we can think of more stuff. But there was enough in there this week that still surprised me. And it was quite fun. Because even going into this week and knowing some of the key story beats of the week, I didn't know how they got there. You know?
Yep. Well, because we didn't know why the hell are they not having their wedding at Chariot Square Hotel like we'd been led to believe that they were going to have. I could only assume that it was Carl did something, but what it was we weren't really sure because you couldn't tell.
Yeah, well, that was last week, wasn't it?
But all right.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. But there was things like we saw the car be dropped on Carl, didn't we? And we didn't see who did it. And as of the time of recording, we still don't know for sure who did it. I mean, do you think it is Ronnie? At the moment, do you think that Ronnie's the one that dropped the car on Carl?
No.
Because we see him in the car.
I think it's Abby.
Do you? We see him in the car with Ronnie on Tuesday's episode, and we saw that. But I think we maybe saw a clip from tonight's episode with Carl in the car with Ronnie, possibly. I don't really remember. But I didn't necessarily put 2 and 2 together there, so I wasn't sure when we watched it who it was that did it. It didn't spoil my enjoyment. It didn't. I don't think it dampened my excitement for the week, but who knows how excited I would have been had I not seen any of it.
I would have found this week incredibly frustrating to not know, given the number of very interesting red herrings / clues that have been left by Coronation Street, either purposefully or inadvertently.
Well, like what?
Like who's in the cast list for next week? Well, one person's missing.
I think that Megan's missing from the cast next week.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and there was also something in one of the synopses apparently for next week about Theo, which still makes sense for him. No, it does make sense if he's dead. But why did they put that there? It was
something like Todd is furious, he won't be brought to justice.
Yeah.
And there's a picture
which could be read either way, but it's kind of a big clue that he got killed off if you've seen that.
There's a picture of all of the Corrie cast at a bus stop wearing their ITV coats, and James Cartwright is wearing a blue one, which is interesting.
They should have been in blue ones, and he should have been in red because he's a red shirt, right?
What's
Star Trek reference.
Right, okay. Yeah.
You're proud of me for that. We didn't even notice.
It's not really used in the correct way, but never mind.
Okay.
Red shirt's an anonymous person who gets killed.
Okay.
To prove the situation
not
serious.
Theo, then.
What else? There were lots of little bits, right, that I think if I'd heard them, I'd have gone, that's clearly a spoiler, and it would have wound me up.
Yeah. Well, the big one for me was the picture that was released as part of this week's just general episode pictures of Betsy
Theo
screaming.
Being dead.
No, Betsy screaming, clearly in the yard outside the back of the shop, because you could see the scaffolding in the background. And that to me is like, why on earth would you release that? Because that pins the body being found right underneath Todd's flat. And yes, any of them could have ended up there. And as it turns out, a lot of the characters, and again, I'm just kind of guessing from what I remember about tonight's episode, a lot of the characters involved do end up in the precinct before... any of them could have had their body dumped or whatever.
Yeah, but it's one of those things that if I'd seen that, I would have got quite annoyed.
I would have got very annoyed if I'd seen that.
I also think there's been a bit of some of the social media of the actors revealing that they're still filming, or like maybe some misdirection. Like James Cartwright told some people that he was going to leave at the end of the year or something, which is obviously a bit of a
didn't hear that.
I think he did. I'm sorry if that's not true, but he kind of gave the impression that he wasn't going to leave in April, May. Now, the other thing that's funny to consider is that our little Sam, which is why this conversation began, because of the clickbait about Sam killing Megan, little Sam is having hallucinations. So it definitely means, in the grand tradition of Coronation Street ghosts, that anybody who got killed this week could still be in the show for a few months to come, if, haunting him.
There hasn't been so much recently, but if you're going to have a character that's going to have hallucinations, seems
seems fair to say
Like it
that,
writes
that
itself.
they might just still carry on appearing after they're supposed to be dead.
Yeah.
Which helps for not spoiling from the cast lists.
I remember the other one that they would put on their social media. It was last week. They had the I can't remember what it was for, but they had Aaron McCusker and Pauline McGlynn.
Salford's 100th anniversary.
Yeah.
Of being a city. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
So they had Pauline McGlynn there with the other two going, "Oh, happy 100th anniversary, Salford." And I'm like, "What are you doing there, Pauline McGlynn?
Yeah.
Still alive, are you?"
Whoops. Yeah, that was
It could have possibly been managed a little bit better, but on the whole, I still think that as the week went on, there was a great buzz in the fandom about who's going to die, and I was still seeing theories all over the place. I mean, no one was predicting Jodie, were they?
Well, nobody's also said it's Theo because this, and everyone's gone, "You're right, game over."
Yeah.
Some people have picked up on some clues that make
right.
it. Yeah. But anyway, the whole reason I brought this up was to do with Sam, and I don't think that it's necessarily like there could still be a second death. Don't know.
Oh yeah, you were telling me that the other day, weren't you?
You haven't watched Fridays.
We haven't, but do you want to say that?
Not
theory?
really.
No, okay.
But I want to say that I think it's possible that somebody kills Megan. It doesn't have to be this week. Could be another week, and then he thinks that he hallucinated. Or did he not hallucinate those three grabbing her and then thinks it was them, or doesn't think it was them based on that?
So he's gonna, He's
gonna get confused because
he'll think that
Toya lied
the
to him
Battersbys killed
already
Megan
and told him that he didn't see what he thought he saw. Now, if Leanne or Eva confirmed that they did do what he said that they did, and Toya said they didn't do, which is to kidnap Megan.
Yeah.
He's going to start doubting things even more and get even more confused and paranoid. And it is possible that he might end up thinking that he's covering up for the three sisters killing Megan when they didn't.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like that theory.
It is a good theory.
Could happen.
Thank you.
I mean, I still, as we said, most of these characters' days are clearly numbered in Coronation Street, one way or the other. We're not going to be having Megan on the show in probably even 6 months' time. Definitely not a year's time. Carl, I can't see staying. Maggie, possibly not. Probably not. She doesn't feel like it. And I think she might have even said... No, actually, I'm not going to say that. Who was the other one? Jodie, maybe. She could still stay around, I suppose, but nobody thinks that nobody ever thought that she was going to get killed off anyway.
Another thing that happened, which I don't want to say too much about, is that some people did get papped on a location shoot.
Did they?
That feels very significant.
Oh, yes. Yes, they did.
And we won't talk about it because I don't know how it fits in and I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
No, some people got papped on a location shoot that people thought was pointing towards a different victim, didn't they? But we don't want to say what it is because that's a bit of a spoiler.
Or not. I think it was ambiguous enough that it was fine to do.
Yeah.
Right, we carry on with this?
Yeah, let's keep going.
Coronation Street death sealed. What did I say about that word? Coronation Street death sealed for Cobble's icon, but they're not intended victim, from the Daily Star.
Cobble's icon. So is this one of the 5? Or is it
Well, listen to it. Not the intended victim.
Yeah, but they could have still been, that could have still meant somebody meant to kill Carl, but they accidentally bumped off Theo instead. No. So
it's not one of the 5.
So this is theorising that somebody else is going to be accidentally killed, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It could be anybody. Todd.
Yeah, it could be, couldn't it?
Todd. David. Eva Price.
No, it's to do with mistaken identity.
I don't know. What is it?
Shona gets killed because somebody thinks she's nice. Jodie.
I don't think they look that similar that you'd mistake them.
Depends on what angle. I mean, David thinks they look quite similar.
This is true. Yes.
Well, it's funny that they did use that technique. I don't know when this clickbait was from, what day of the week, but they did use that technique of mistaken identity this week.
Yeah.
I can't look, can I just say, my complaint from last week has been rolled over. It is a double lottery win this week because I am complaining twice that I cannot read these stupid websites properly. My phone is dying on its arse. It's like crashing all over the place. I'm trying to read, I'm desperately trying to scroll through these
websites
articles.
Are full of ads.
Yeah, I thought you were saying they're for the VADs, like Vlad the Impaler. That it's really hard to read it, and you've got to scroll really quickly to get to the point.
It's all right.
I'm just going. So that's why I'm not checking.
One more. One more for the road.
I'll give you one more, and it is bored Coronation Street fans. Now this is an attack. Bored Coronation Street fans
No such thing.
slam unrealistic episodes despite Cobble's resident cheating on wife from The Sun.
Unrealistic episode. Well, the cheating on wife, I assume, is relating to David and Jodie.
Yeah.
Unreal, and they're saying that was unrealistic.
There was something unrealistic about that enabled it to happen, and I don't know if you're going to get it.
Shona left her phone at home
You're
again.
right,
Hey!
you did it. I didn't believe
I
in
did
you.
see a few people having a moan about her leaving her phone. It is a bit of a easy, unlikely to happen thing. I've complained about people leaving their phone all the time, and it's it's unlocked.
Yeah, but we've got friends who I suspect they're fibbing, but will say to us, "Oh, I didn't have my phone on me, so I didn't see your message."
And that's just what you say, isn't it?
But then again, when we
look,
we lead very unexciting sedentary lives, and so our phones are always in our hands. But when we go to stuff and do things, it is very possible that I will not see your message in a day, which is quite unusual for me. But I've never not had my phone in my hand.
Yeah, fair enough. They've got to be careful how often they lean into that. I mean, they had the Battersbys having Will's phone just last week, didn't they? Which they managed to get into because he doesn't have a password on it. And now this week you got Jodie doing the same thing.
It really makes sense to me that everybody knows each other's I know your password, you know my password. It's not a banking account. We can't access each other's banking accounts, but I can get on your phone. Like most husbands and wives and family. How many times, like even some of my friends, if I pick their phone up and they said, "Oh, can you get my phone for me? Can you look at this?" I say, "What's your code? Do you want to put it in, or do you want me to put it in?"
And then you write it down in your little book
and
of codes.
I go, "You fool! You absolute
Maybe
fool!"
this was the case of mistaken identity.
No, I can take over your life.
Maybe this was the case of mistaken identity, and Shona's phone has got Face ID, and Jodie looks so much like Shona. It's like, come in.
Is like, what's this?
Text
Another
your
one?
husband and invite him to a booty call. Okay,
anyway, I thought it was funny. I guess bored Coronation Street fans. I thought the Sun was sort of saying Coronation Street fans are all sad losers who are bored. But maybe it was saying they didn't like that episode because that, to me, was the weakest one.
I saw lots of people with that. Now, I don't know how... could I rank them? Yeah, I could probably rank them. I think, even though it feels like a little way back, I'd probably say the Todd one was the strongest. Good way to start, but that was probably, that's the biggest story, isn't it?
Yeah.
I would probably then put the Maggie and Megan one second.
I really like that one.
It was great. I loved it, Jan very. Then I would put the Carl episode third, and yeah, David and Shona possibly was the weakest one. But, Jodie isn't a character I've got fully invested in yet. She's only barely arrived, it feels like. Nobody thought that she was going to die. But the fact that she's linked with the Platts, the fact that it had hilarious drunken David climbing into bed with her and saying she smells like a sexy sweet shop, and then everything that goes around with that, I still found it. I as I say, I was banging. I gave it banging all week. And I liked the format. And we've seen so many, haven't we? Special Super Soap weeks, Britain's Got Talent weeks, where they've played with the format and made it a little different. I often found that when it was a special week like that, there'd be a lull somewhere, or the big event would happen, say Wednesday or Thursday, and then towards the end of the week it'd peter out again. Victoria caught fire was that the middle of the week maybe, and then it was Friday. It was just like, oh no, hospital scenes. But this week, because it's been all the single thread episodes, the climax, we kind of already know what it is in a way. Well, that somebody's got murdered. They put it at the end of the week. There was the excitement of, ooh, who's finding out what? Who's potentially going to murder someone? Where is that person? I loved all week how they had the little crossovers with the other days. So at the beginning of the week, you had things like Megan coming up to Kit with a bloody nose and saying, "Oh, arrest somebody," and
Daniel, seeing her
and seeing Daniel, because what we didn't see at the press day was anything with Daniel and Megan and Ken, did we?
No.
So that was a lovely little treat for us last night on the Thursday episode.
Yeah, that was
great. I really, really enjoyed the single format of it. Every episode was super tense, and it didn't peter out for me whatsoever. and because we've had weeks worth of half an hour episodes, again, sometimes with the Britain's Got Talent week, when they were all half an hour, I felt like I was being shortchanged a little bit because they were shorter episodes, but I didn't get that this week. So I will say that, you know, most people hate it, but Coronation Street sinkhole drama is probably up there towards the top for me when I think of favourite special weeks. I know, shoot me down. But this week, it was good. It was good. Yes, it would have been better if the potential victims had been characters that had been long-term big characters. I think that's probably the biggest downside, wouldn't you say? That
No.
Who cares about any of these being killed because they're probably not going to be in the show for that much longer.
Does not bother me.
That bit doesn't bother you.
I've said that repeatedly.
I just think that I think it would have been more exciting if it had been 5 characters, all of whom we'd be thinking, well, I don't know, Corrie can't afford to lose any of them. I don't know who it's going to be. That would have been peak for me, but you know, I haven't got many complaints really about this week. I thought it was jolly good. What did you think about the general format of it and having a different character each day?
I loved that. I really enjoyed having them concentrate on a different character every week. It's really fascinating to think there's an entire week of Coronation Street that you've got no idea what happened in it because we were just repeating Thursdays.
Yeah,
over and over again.
The week of the last week of April just doesn't exist in Weatherfield.
How are they going to catch
Unless
up?
they do a time jump and Wednesday they say, oh, what a boring week that was. Anyway, let's investigate the murder.
Yeah, because I'm back from on my honeymoon.
We just spent a week going, what? Theo's dead?
My God.
I just can't, I need a rest.
We need to go into mourning.
Yeah.
I'm going to say I think my gripe about the 5 potential victims is that Jodie, and maybe there will be a shock twist. Jodie is by far the weakest element, and I don't think anyone thinks she's going to die. But sadly, I also think if she does die, no one's going to care because she's not a strong enough character yet. I'm not saying she doesn't have potential, and I think the actress is brilliant, and I love how she fits into the show. I just do not think she's a credible suspect, and I think that if she was killed, it wouldn't be a twist because it just would be like, oh. Kind of like when it turned out it was Frank's mum.
But
it's it's not a twist.
I know what you mean, but I would still say that, you know, Theo being killed off is like, oh, the big bad of the year ends up dead. Who'd have thought it?
What are you talking about? It could have been Megan. I think it could have been Megan or Carl or Theo.
Yeah, it could have been, but I would say that probably Theo is maybe the safer, more predictable choice.
I think no,
just because he's the biggest big bad.
I agree with you.
It's fine. I have been a big champion of the single thread episodes that we've had this year. Not that there's been many. You know, Harper's birth, the Bernie and Mal have a bit of a drunken rave up episode. There's another one I can't remember. I really love not having, if the story's good enough, I really love not being distracted by the other stories. It feels like...
It's because it's easier for you to take notes.
Much easier for me to take notes. It feels like a proper drama, you know, using that in inverted commas in a silly voice as I say it. But yeah, just as a little bit of a break from a soap. But yeah, and just the little hints. Even, you know, in our privileged position, I suppose, having seen clips of all of the episodes this week, it was fun when we saw mini previews of it as the week went on, because we knew what was going on. We know why Megan's marching down the road with a bloodied nose. We knew when we saw that balcony shot of Maggie and Megan, when Jodie goes to the precinct on Wednesday's episode, we know what they were doing up there. Yeah, and it was like and that was probably a benefit of us going to the press day, because we go, oh, we know what that is.
Yeah, but I would have enjoyed not knowing.
But I wonder whether some of it we would have even noticed.
No, we would have done. We would have been going through... This is the funny thing about it. We would have been obsessively going through all of this. We'd have been doing midweek, like, breakdowns on, the, you know, quick podcast, like, who do you think it is? We probably would have done one Thursday night going, who do you think the final, like, what do we reckon? We didn't do any of that because we already did it last week. did
there was a
it
couple of weeks
before
ago,
we'd seen it, so there was no point doing
there-
another one. But it was, it has been really good.
There were
Good
some
fun.
things like that balcony scene, though, were really, they are out of the corner of your eye moments. Because I saw quite a few people, when we commented on the Street Talk short on Wednesday and said, oh, Maggie and Megan on the balcony. We had a few people commenting saying, what, where? I didn't see that. But I knew to look out. I knew to look out for it because I knew that they would be there. I knew that there was a confrontation there.
Yeah, you have better faith in both of us than that.
Bit more eagle-eyed.
Just because I can't remember what music they used, or that remember that Theo killed Billy.
Okay, so what we're going to do...
Tell you what you killed. The mood.
I didn't. So rude of you. What we're going to do then, ladies and gentlemen, as you probably guessed would be the format for this week, is we're going to go through each day step by step chronologically, because it already handily divides it into storylines for us. I've not given each individual one a storyline title, but as a callback to the flash forward episode, when I called that storyline Future Villain Killing, this week we are doing Future Villain Killing Fulfilling. We got to find out, didn't we? At last, we thought we'd find out on the 23rd of April. We had to wait an extra week longer, but now we know.
But who did it?
Who did it? Who did it? See, I don't know.
It's taking too long.
Are they... No, you have to say that. I don't know whether we know for 100% sure that the murderer or the circumstances aren't going to be revealed tonight. I've got a feeling
I'll be disappointed if we find out who did it. I'd rather drag this out.
It feels like a missed opportunity if it's not a murder mystery. Although, I'm going to say, as you did last week, Miles, that's my prediction. I'm getting it in early.
Yeah. I said Miles, this, didn't I?
It's going to be Miles. Right.
I said it first.
I have done lots of talking this week, Gemma. I'm going to pass over to you to remind us just what was going on with Todd and Theo.
So who am I going to do then?
Todd. You're going to do Todd and the Platts, and I'm going to do Carl and the Battersby. So we both get a favourite one in there.
All right. So Monday is when this all happened, in case she needs to be reminded. And every episode we get to see Carla getting her keys out. Alison King got good practice for prop work there with the keys to open the factory door.
They didn't film it multiple times, Gemma.
No, I know. And then with Lisa and
Tim Parker.
Sally. Is Sally there? Sally's there because the alarm's going off. So every episode begins with that, and then Toya driving around. Are you saying she was listening to a different song every time?
No, I'm saying a different song was playing at the beginning of every episode, and it was on the Thursday's episode that it was revealed that she was listening to Ladies' Night. You need to watch that again.
Do you think... What do you mean?
Do you not believe me?
No, I do believe you.
Okay.
Do you think that was actually what she was listening to?
I think it was.
Right, here's my question. Is that a radio station she's tuned into, or is it on her mix? Do you think she's got a kidnap mixtape?
Yeah, there's a kidnap mixtape. You're right.
Ladies' Night, because it was in female empowerment, wasn't it? But just like in real life, it was also the patriarchy forcing misogyny upon us, because it was 3 women against another woman. They really should have teamed up and beaten a man up, shouldn't they? But hey, what can you do when a teacher's a pedo? Nothing. You have to beat him up. So Monday. So Carla's blah blah blah. Already said all this. We also get to see Jodie looking out the window. This is the same every day. Jodie looking out the window. Maggie walking down the street. And Abby walks around the corner looking like she's off to a drug deal.
Yeah, off to meet older Dane.
And Carl comes out of the pub with a bag in his hand.
Yeah, every day starts with that. And
every day.
Each day picks up from one of the characters. Well, we also saw at the beginning of Monday's episode that it was indeed Theo on the scaffolding, as we exclusively revealed last week on the podcast by looking at the credits. But I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen, we obviously did know that it was Theo because we'd seen it at the press day. But I was just merely presenting evidence to you that Coronation Street had put out there that proved it. So that's not a spoiler.
We still don't know what the bloody scaffolding's for.
No, we don't. That maybe that is my one biggest criticism of the whole of Murder Week. What was the scaffolding for? Nobody's mentioned it, and did I have a rant about this last week? I probably did. And nobody's written in yet to say, Michael,
Stupid
I think
idiot.
you forgot to say that I think you missed
subsidence.
the fact that Dev had complained about the sinkholes around the back of the corner shop. I don't know. But yeah, that was... I wish that there'd just been a line thrown in there or something.
Yeah, like they even said something about Dev. They even had a comment where Theo was talking about the fact that it didn't get his company to put the scaffolding up. Really, I really like feel there were just times when they really could have put it in. Like a line going.
Well, having visited... Oh, go on.
Go on.
I was just saying, having visited the set somewhat recently, we've looked around the back of that corner shop and it doesn't look any different, so I don't know what they were working on there.
What could it be?
It's literally...
It's driving me mad now.
It's a plot... It's scaffolding to
it's from the
help a murder.
Plot contrivance company, scaffolding provision.
Yes, exactly.
Right, so Theo... Todd's talking to Eileen on the phone inside his flat as he's getting ready to go, because he's going to go and stay with his brother and mum in Thailand, right? That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he's getting ready, which uniquely happened in his bedroom.
Yes, he did. He was packing his bag in his bedroom like a normal person.
Sensible chap.
That's where your wardrobe is.
That's where everything you need to put into a bag is going to be.
Yes. I liked how they had, I think it must have been Monday's episode, they had a shot where the camera was kind of taking us on a journey through the set. You know, from we travelled down that corridor and into the room.
And they were like, "Look, this is what we're telling you."
Yeah, like the extra Rover's kitchen, which is sometimes there and sometimes not. That's the same with the bedroom, and I appreciated that they did actually plonk the bedroom set onto the side of
the audacity though of trying to claim that a flat that small would have an additional hallway to the bedroom. It was so hilarious.
It's a little bit on the small side for what was inside.
Absolutely no need for a hallway. Okay.
We know from the Rovers that Coronation Street was built with Time Lord technology. Let's say no more. That's how they could have the flash forward as well.
Yeah. One day I want somebody to pack their bag in the living room and put things from the living room in the bag, like lampshades and books,
the TV.
Remote control, a bowl of nuts goes in there. That's all I'm taking with me. I'll buy clothes there. Yeah. You can't buy a remote there, can you?
The family portraits that are weirdly looking like press
shots. Yeah. You have to take these headshots if we can get any work. Right, so I'll get on with it now.
Sorry.
Oh, it was my fault. So he's packing. Yeah, we're in the second paragraph, and the first paragraph's what happens every day. He's packing. Nearly an hour into this podcast, we get to the first thing that happens in the show. Mm-hmm. He's packing. He hears a smashing sound, and ends the call. And he picks up something, and he walks. We get an over the shoulder cam. He walks. Oh, he picks up a shoe. He walks to the bedroom.
Yeah, so for apologies, the notes do say show. He picks a show and he decides to be Coronation Street this week.
He's like, I don't want to be in EastEnders. It sounds like it's
someone's going to die on EastEnders, but I'm sure safe here on Coronation Street.
I'm not one of the 5. So he goes and finds a window smashed in his bedroom.
Very, very thoroughly smashed.
Yes. And Theo's lurking in, he sneaks in. He sneaks into the room, doesn't he?
He has snuck in, hasn't he? Yeah, because Todd leaves the room and he doesn't happen to notice the giant hulk of a man hiding out in the shadows by the wardrobe.
I feel like I've forgotten so many of the details of this day. And
I've forgotten a lot of this.
How have I done it? So, George and Christina are in the pub and he's bought...
Just got a text message from Jan McVery on my phone. A DM on Instagram. Just want to say, everybody. Sorry, I just like to brag about these things.
George has got, and this would be what you would do, a Type A travel adapter as a special gift for Todd's new adventures.
I loved this. I really loved how George's terrible ability to buy decent presents, which is a established fact about this character, turned out to be something that Todd really wanted in the end. That was lovely, and Todd giving him a big hug and thanking him for his travel adapter. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking he was going to do without it, but that was a really, really sweet, sweet sting in the tail to it, whatever it is.
Twist. So he gets a phone call from Todd, and Todd says the window's broken.
Imagine if they did that on like Inside Number 9, the programme that's well known for its twists. And the twist at the end of this episode is he likes the travel adapter.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just interrupting so much today.
It's all right.
I'm excited about Murder Week.
Like. So he says, I think it was kids, but I did wonder if it was Theo. But I promise you I'm fine. Can you tell Dev, if you see him, please, George, that I'm going to, because I've got loads of stuff to do. And I'll come and see you at the pub later. So he turns around then, Todd, and sees Theo, who's got his case. He's kidnapped it. And he's like, you going anywhere nice? Somewhere nice. Meanwhile, Gary stops Summer from throwing a brick through Theo's van's windows. I'll do that later. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah, we did have the return of Gary Mallet this week, didn't we? Not Gary Mallet, played by Ian Mercer, who was married to Judy Mallet, but Gary with a mallet. There's Sean is in that scene as well, wasn't he? Outside prima donna looking.
How have you written wood?
I'm just trying to avoid. I don't know what. Sometimes my autocorrect on there changes strange things.
See, when I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about,
it wasn't a comment on the quality of his acting, Gemma.
When it sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm reading a note that says Wood is by outside prima donna, and of course I remember Sean was there, but I didn't know if that was something else.
I'm gonna say it was.
Sean is very drunk at this point, and I thought his scene was quite funny because he was complaining that he is a big gay wedding and he didn't have a date or something. I can't remember. It was funny.
I'm always very, very happy to see Sean in a scene. And I liked how he was doing something a little bit different here. He wasn't being Dad Sean. He wasn't being bar person Sean. He wasn't being Nick Stitcher Sean. He was just being
Sean.
Bloke at a wedding Sean.
I liked that he was a bit bitter about it and like slightly annoyed. Because if I was Sean, like to speak in a meta way, I'd be really peed off that I've been in the show. I was the first gay character in Coronation Street, and I've not had a big gay wedding on the scale of anybody.
Do you think that that's the reason why they've not had one for so long? It's Sean saying, no, I'm going to be the first one, and I don't feel ready yet.
I'm doing it. I'm not ready to settle down.
Not ready to commit. I would so love one day for Sean to find somebody that's just right for him and have a happy marriage. That would make my heart double in size if Sean literally. And I know,
you have to go to the doctor.
I know that his character is always the single loner, but I got such a soft spot for Sean, and his whole thing is I need somebody to that I can look after, that can look after me, and he's just not found anyone. He's just found horrible dentists and the like ever since.
He's not going on that. What was it? Gay Bay. What was it? Gay Bay.
Gay Bay. Yeah.
Not going on there because that's where the murderers hang out. So, Todd tells Theo, I'm going to Eileen and Jason, stay with them. And Theo picks up this knife and stabs it into the chopping block. And then he gets really manic and he says, I'm going to cook you a last supper.
Oh yeah, he's like slicing up a squash, doesn't he?
He gets a butternut squash out. He's going, I'm making you risotto. And then later on he gets a tray of courgettes and peppers, which panicked me because you're not putting that in your butternut squash risotto, are you? You maniac. I'd rather you killed me.
Do they not go?
No, not at all. Not at all. Maybe it was a side dish. Maybe he was making a soup. I don't know. He's a maniac. he's a murderer, we've established.
Yeah, he's unhinged. He's got nothing left to lose at this point.
He's like, I don't care.
He's not supposed to be there.
I'll put courgettes into butternut squash. What are you going to do?
He's broken his restraining order.
Report me to the police for culinary crimes. You're going to tell Ollie. Woo!
Yeah.
Ollie's going out. Me and Ollie are more alike than I'd like to admit. So, Todd is like, you can't be here because there's, the police said you're not allowed to be here. And Theo just carries on regardless. Look, I know it's over with you, but I just want to do this one last thing. And then he's chopping up all the vegetables in a very kind of aggressive manner. Gary and Summer are sitting in Seb's garden after he's managed to talk her down from smashing up Theo's van. And she's like, I cannot stop thinking about the fact that Theo left Billy to die. Me, I've forgotten it, Summer. Just get over it.
It's so traumatic, Gemma. You've forced us. You've suppressed it in your brain, haven't you?
I can't cope with it. Yeah, I played Tetris immediately following it, and it got rid of my PTSD.
Once again, whenever there's a scene with Summer getting upset about Billy dying, Harriet Bibby, props to you, girl.
I feel like Harriet Bibby has been vindicated by this storyline because we all gave her so much crap.
She doesn't just faint.
Summer got so much crap off of us. We never gave any crap to the actress because they always get they get given what they get given. The storyline was not compelling at all. It was just Summer fainting in various houses. But this
trying to escape or banging his shoe against the window. That's never gonna get forgotten.
But she has proven herself. They've given her some really great stuff with this, and I'm so pleased that she's finally getting to show her chops. I'm sure other people have different opinions about whether they thought that she was, some people really rated her before, but I think that this is properly really good display of her talent.
This would be a perfect place if I had the soundboard loaded up to have Summer's robot interject about what he thinks about.
We don't need to slow this down any more than we already have. So yeah, big props. We always knew that you could do it, Harriet, and now finally getting given some great material for this.
Yes.
So she says, I can't stop thinking about it. I was even thinking about him praying and just his suffering. And then she says to Gary, that evil man, he's taken my joy too, and he's just walking around the streets. This is when Theo burns his hand because God's saying, don't put courgettes in. he's getting taken out of the oven, and Theo's like enraged, and Todd is just cowering, and Theo says, stop snivelling, stop apologising, stop grovelling, and he gets really mad and he kicks the suitcase, and then he lunges at Todd because Todd's got kind of grasping for the knife because he's concerned that his knife is out and Theo is being quite unpredictable.
Do you think was that did he want it for defence, or was he going to attack, or was he going to do a bit of helping out with the chopping of vegetables?
It was like, if we're going to put some vegetables in it, I can slice maybe some onions. It's very classic.
Yeah, and while Theo's crying, Todd makes an escape.
That would have been really great distraction technique. Just chop a bunch of onions and then everybody's been gassed.
That's how the chefs do it, isn't it? It's a chef special.
Anyway, so he grabs the knife. Theo's got the knife in his hand and he's like, go on then, stab me in the heart.
Oh yeah, he bares his chest, doesn't he?
Yeah. He grabs a clay pot. No, it wasn't a clay pot, Michael. It's the pestle.
I know, I wrote clay pot because I couldn't remember whether it was the pestle or the mortar. As a resident culinary expert, Gemma, who's got so much to say about what does go together in a soup. Which one is it?
Who do you think you are?
Is it the pestle or is it the mortar? It's
the mortar.
You say that very confidently. I believe you.
It's the mortar. Good job this is not video, isn't it? He's looming over him with the pestle or mortar as George walks in and stops him, and this was a really great development.
Yes.
This scene, it's like suddenly
George is the best.
George is there, and so Theo yells at them, both sit on the sofa. Then he starts monologuing as George is trying to settle him down and say, look, you can get away from this, you don't have to be this way, you should just let us leave. And Theo's like, oh no, I'm going to end up in a police car. This is terrible.
This was like when Rob had Carla and Lisa hostage last year, wasn't it? He knew that he wasn't getting out of this in a good way, so he might as well take them down with them.
Yeah.
With him.
Yeah. So Theo's panicking, and then he whacks George with the mortar / pestle.
Of all the things he's done.
I know.
If you didn't hate Theo already, that whacking George with the mortar would have sealed the deal for me.
Todd goes to help him, but Theo pushes him away. And then George does the most brilliant George thing ever.
We saw this on the press day, didn't we?
I love this character.
This got a reaction at the press day when George does
Absolutely brilliant. George pretends he's got cramp in his leg and he's screaming and going, oh my god, it really hurts, it really hurts. And everyone's kind of discombobulated.
No, they are. And I was like, I don't think I've ever seen cramp being used as a distraction technique in fiction before, but fair play. It was a good, because if you got your leg in a cramp, you can't do anything about it.
I get it myself, and it's agony.
I haven't had it for a while. I think I'm overdue a middle of the night cramping.
Nice. Okay, good to know.
It's not, well, if I do, I've just warned you about it now.
Right.
Sorry.
You don't really get it. It's
no,
me
sometimes you get it more than me. You get it more than me. If the cat gets flung off the bed.
Right, so he pretends to get cramp, and then he gets up and thumps Theo around the face. Excellent.
Great.
And then the two of them bundle Theo into the bathroom, tie it closed with a cord.
A very shoddy knot.
And then escape.
So Theo being punched by George. But both George and Ronnie, both of them, I would say, lovers not fighters type characters. You
Yeah,
know,
but
Ronnie had
both of
those
them-
muscles for something, but I wouldn't have ever expected him
These are just for
to
show,
beat
baby.
up Carl, last week. And George, he is not somebody to go punching somebody. So the fact that that's probably the first person he's ever punched in his life, I imagine.
But
Oh no, he
both
did have
of
that. He
them-
did have that rumble with the Rest Easy guy the other year. Right.
Both of them, though, have this very strong masculine energy that's not like toxic masculinity. It's not like laddie, but they've got this quiet strength.
Yeah, but so this was like a protective. I'm George.
protective.
Todd is my surrogate
Yeah.
son. I'm gonna. You're the bad guy. I'm doing this to protect him. It's what Eileen would have wanted,
really nice.
even if it's not the sort of thing I would normally do.
It's really nice and refreshing for our male audience to see such great role models of Ronnie and George both beating people with their strong masculine energy.
Yeah, I
this
think
week.
it's a lesson been learned.
I really
this
liked
week.
it. Yeah, I think it's a great
It's gonna be kids-
refreshing new way to.
If kids
Show a
watch
new way to be a
Coronation
man.
Street, then they'd be all doing it on the playground the next day and say, "Well, George did it, so
You
that's
don't
fine."
have to go. You don't have to go to football and like boobies. You can just punch someone in the face, and that's enough to be a real man.
That was one of my many moments of the week.
I
For
loved
sure,
it.
for
I
sure.
loved it. So they run away, and outside is Kit. Kit's there. I can't remember why he's come out of the wedding, but he has. And they like accost him, and so he's like, right, phone up, get the police involved, get some unit in, get the flat keys from Todd and George. Right, you go, be safe. I'm gonna sort this out. And he's trying to coordinate all of this. Make sure, keep an eye on the flat. Make sure that Theo doesn't escape. Terrible job. And then as he's trying to do this, up runs Megan with a bloody nose, going, I want to report an assault. Look at this. And Kit's like, I'm not interested.
Not your episode. Wait, come back on Thursday.
Thursday's when you're supposed to be doing this, love. Go away. And it was great because he was like, no, I don't have time for this. And she's going, oh, you're supposed to be on duty all the time. And he says, I'm a civilian. Leave me alone.
Props to Kit this week. I'm going to say, you know that I am not Kit's biggest fan, but I did appreciate him this week. Putting in his...
Tell you what, I know that he's a terrible police officer because he's corrupt and everything, but it really is nice when he sort of displays his work side, because he is actually quite efficient.
Well, do you think he gets a bit disappointed when he doesn't have to plant evidence to collar the perp?
Yeah,
He's
do you
like,
think he would George and Todd run up, go, oh my god, oh he's stuck in there and he tried to attack us, and Kit opens his jacket and goes, right, what murder weapons do you want me to plant on him? Knife, hammer, pestle. Did you have a mortar up there because this will match?
No, I think it's like, I'd just been sitting at the police station, plotting a way that I could go there and put some evidence on Theo, and now I've wasted my time. Thanks, lads.
He's like, did you say that Mal was in there as well?
Mal. Whatever happened to him? Will we ever see him again?
I don't know.
I
That
really
was a bit
don't know.
weird.
I really don't know.
So, she then turns around to go looking for help elsewhere because he tells her to phone the police, which, you know, to be fair, she should do. And
There's enough of them on the street at the moment, let's be honest.
She sees Daniel outside the pub, so that then cuts their story.
Yeah.
George and Todd go to number 11, and George is pouring them out some brandy, and Todd's like, oh, I've got to catch my flight. My case is still at the flat. And George's like, you can't go back there now. Look, take some of my stuff. Here you go. I'll drive you to the airport. Here's a travel adapter as a gift. And Todd's like, oh my God, thank you so much.
That was lovely.
And then they
So
hear
sweet.
the sound of sirens and they hug, relieved. They feel that finally they're free.
I did wonder in the clickbait section whether there'd be any articles there where the answer was fans were asking where Todd's passport was. Because I did see a fair amount of discussion about that potential oversight, but maybe Todd is just the sort of person that always carries his passport around with him.
I hate to say this, but I feel as though I would very much have been on the phone trying to rearrange my flight. I'd be like, there's too much going on. I don't think it's possible I'm going to get on the plane today.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to be a witness, aren't you? They're going to take a statement off you.
Yeah.
You can't go, sorry, I'm going to Thailand.
Do it over Zoom. We're in the 21st century, Gemma.
Oh, they're very accustomed to interviewing perps over Zoom in Thailand, are
He's
they?
not a perp.
Well, right then.
He's a witness.
We don't know if he's a perp.
That's very true, actually. He could well be.
Yeah, could be. Right, so Gary decides a bit of sledgehammering is in order on Theo's van and he starts beating the crap out of it.
Again, go Gary. Like using your powers of villainy and kind of pent up frustration about you still haven't given up the idea that Lou whacked you over the head and you're feeling a little bit.
Show him a man.
Less
I want to be like George and Ronnie.
Yeah, what would a man do in this situation?
Violence.
Yeah, man hits thing with hammer.
Oh gosh.
Let me drag it back to Maria at home.
Do you know who would be? Do you know who would be an unstoppable power of chaotic good? When united, these two characters,
Who?
Kit and Gary, they're the ultimate good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, I think they would get on.
That would be brilliant.
Famously.
I would love to watch them take someone down. I need Kit to stay in the show for as long as possible. I know loads of people hate him, but he is so fascinating. No, lots of people hate him. He's so fascinating.
The fans.
And I just love how he is chaotic, just like Gary. So anyway, he's being caught on the CCTV, but I do think it is from his...
Yeah, I think it's his own CCTV.
But he is quite dumb, so he might forget that evidence exists.
Right. Pause there for a minute. Knowing what we know now about the fact that Theo is indeed the victim this week, maybe one of many, who knows? Surely this is the fact that Gary has whacked his windscreen is going to mean that he is up there.
As a suspect. Can I say the more significant piece of evidence is about to be delivered via text from Gary to Theo?
Oh yes,
I'm coming for you, all in capitals.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm glad that we'll be able to see a bit more Gary on our screens. He's been underused somewhat over the last few years.
Yeah,
but
evil Gary is my favourite Gary. I wish he'd added some emojis. I'm coming for you, like drunk face, stern face, thinking face, stab.
He could have done the hammer emoji, couldn't he, as he was holding
explosion.
It? Or maybe I bet he ends every message with the little ginger head emoji, the little ginger face.
Why? Thumbs up emoji.
Or there is a pointing forward emoji.
Pointing forward, fist emoji, thumbs up emoji, explosion emoji, skull emoji.
Yeah. So Gary's going to be a suspect, isn't he? Who else? At the moment, from what little we know, is potentially going to be a suspect here. Todd, obviously. The Gemma is nodding for those of you who
for the
not viewing us on video
tape.
Because there isn't one. I mean, Miles, as we say, Miles is our suspect, but police aren't going to think it's him, are they? Unless he turns up on tonight's episode, I suppose. George, I don't know. The way we are at the moment,
jumping the gun a bit here because we haven't finished this story.
Oh, okay, let's finish the story then.
So
Theo arrives.
The police arrive at the flat, and wouldn't you know it, he's escaped.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. He's in the van though, and he sees the damage. I think he's hiding inside the van, isn't he?
Yes. He's hiding. He comes out the back of the van. So as Gary is
whacking
it, he's there going, bloody Nora, what's going on out here?
Also, after he's finished whacking it, Gary just phoned Maria and go...
After he's finished whacking it.
He's like, right, I can come home now. She's like, good. You know, you're not allowed in until you've done it.
So mature.
He phones Maria and says, hi babe, got caught up in a bit of business. I'll be back in a bit. And she's like, you've been whacking it again.
Stop it. Children listen to this.
They shouldn't be. It's murder week. So...
Yes. No under 18s
whacking
listening to this.
as in the van.
I know.
That's what I mean.
What else could you mean?
So he's been in the van. Well, Gary's been outside doing unspeakable things. And he gets his tracker out, does Theo, and he sees Todd on there. Then there's a hand on his shoulder, and he's like, he sees somebody, and he says, am I supposed to be scared? Here's another suspect.
Oh, yes, of course. Theo's a suspect, isn't he?
No.
So,
Carl is a suspect.
I still need that little jar, that penny jar, for every time I say the wrong name or pronoun.
We can't afford it.
So it was a hand on his shoulder, and we obviously knew that it was Carl because we'd seen it.
That.
What?
I forgot.
You forgot. But I did see also somebody somewhere online on Monday saying, I noticed that Carl was wearing a black jacket at the beginning of the episode, and this hand had a black sleeve. So some people had put together the clues there.
Clever. So, cut to Ronnie and Kevin, and this is a bit of a clue for tomorrow's again. They're in the pub, aren't they? And they're having a chat. And
Kevin's saying to Ronnie...
No, Ronnie's saying to Kevin, what were you thinking? And he says, I wasn't. And then he says, let's hope you haven't scuppered everything.
It was the other way around.
Because I think this is when Kevin's stolen the money.
Oh, yeah. Smug Kevin.
Yeah, I don't think that you would say... if you're Kevin saying to Ronnie, I can't believe you crushed him under a car.
Yeah, no, I suppose that
doesn't fit with the
time frame either, does it?
Right, George is in the pub sits with Summer and Christina, and Kit comes in and went, do you know what? I lost him. I know he was locked in. I know he was locked somewhere where he shouldn't have been able to escape, because really there's only 3 sides to look at and 1 door. But I let him out. I let him go. He said he wanted to go to the toilet. And then I forgot that there was one in there. I feel stupid now. Right, so he's on the loose. George is like, well, great.
He's on the loo.
He's on the loo. Shut up. This is important. George is fuming and he says, I'm going to go and find him. But instead he finds Todd getting into the taxi. They have a hug. They start to drive away. Get to Victoria Street. And Todd's like, oh, I forgot my phone. Oh, my God. 2 people this week forget their phones in very spectacularly catastrophic ways. He gets out. Betsy and Lauren get into his taxi. And he stands in the road, trying to get back with his luggage, and there is Theo confronting him.
Yes, that was how the episode ends, isn't it, on Monday? The showdown between the 2 of them. Well, we don't know, as the time of recording, exactly what's happened from there, but no doubt a lot of tonight's episode is going to be focusing on what happens next.
I think I saw some people say, oh, where did he go back for his phone? Didn't need his phone. You probably have your tickets on your phone.
Also,
almost certainly.
Long flight to Thailand. I don't believe that Todd has a Switch, so he needs something for entertainment, doesn't he?
Maybe he's going to watch the movie.
What movie?
Well, the movie on the plane.
Oh, the one that's on the seats.
It's always, yeah.
Back of the seats. Yeah. Okay, so suspects then, clearly Gary. Todd, probably.
Yeah, Todd.
Carl, yeah. George. Particularly as, George has been accused of murdering other women recently. Well, with the old ladies recently, hasn't he? So why not Theo next to show that, hey, equal opportunities, murdering funeral director.
Summer.
Yeah.
I mean, they've taken great pains in giving Summer that's probably the strongest motivation out of anybody that's not Todd.
But, Gary's out of all of them, he's going to be the first one, surely.
He's going to be... No, I don't know. Because we do know that he's dead, so this is a worthy discussion.
They're going to they'll find his body there, look on his phone and say, text message from Gary, I'm coming to get you. Gary's going to be locked up by Monday end of play,
In real life, how often does it happen that somebody gets murdered and the police are like, there are so many people that really hated him and have got loads of evidence that could point.
Once every few years. That's the answer to that in soap.
No, I said in real life. Because I bet most of the time it's obviously did it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they don't have loads of suspects normally.
No.
Fascinating.
I just can't get out of my head the idea it's Miles. Why bring him back?
Here's a question.
For that one scene last week.
What do you think? How do you think Theo's died? Because I think he's fallen off. He's been pushed off of the scaffolding.
Yeah, and again, we don't know what's going to be exactly on tonight's episode. We know that Betsy finds him, but we don't know whether they show anything about him going. I know that he's going to be at the precinct at some point tonight, and I know that he's going to obviously
go back
at the bottom of the scaffolding. But yeah, is it a push? Is it a stumble?
If this turns out to not be a murder, I'm going to be really angry.
Yeah.
If this is a twist that it wasn't really a murder, that's going to be deeply unsatisfying to me. What do we reckon the possibility that it's Betsy?
Oh yeah, and so she's just doing a pretend
kills
scream.
Him like,
what's this body I found?
No. Here's another question. What is it that prompts her to go there? Because there's no reason at all that Betsy should be going that way.
That's a really good question, actually. I hadn't even considered that. What is Betsy doing round the back of the shop? I don't know whatsoever.
No. I think Lauren's doing something.
She might. Maybe she hears a kerfuffle.
Maybe she does hear the struggle.
Yeah.
So then she would, and again, one of the things that keeps coming back, and now I'm starting to think it was just purely a dramatic line with not really that much basis in reality. No one deserves to die like that, because someone falling off a scaffolding,
impaled.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a bit. It's not like the most horrific, tragic, gory, nasty.
I'm also gonna say
it's not that high.
Yeah, it's not that high. I mean, I'm not saying that I want to jump off it myself just to test a theory.
No, but I do have an inflated sense of my own abilities, and I do think I'd have a crack jumping off the top.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like
it does feel like I could do
it's
that.
not, but not.
It's like when they say, "Oh, somebody's just run a 2 hour marathon." You're like,
I think he'd
have a go. Have a go at that.
I mean, I suppose they could just say that he smacks his head on the wall on the way down or something, maybe.
Yeah, but okay, I just don't think that it's either a line that they put in there for dramatic purposes that means nothing in the end, or he didn't fall off and it was some kind of like horrific, like there's blood everywhere. He's been stabbed by something. He's been what ways do we think it's possible? Falling off something. Because Maggie and Megan look like they're about to be pushed off the stairs, pushed down the stairs. They're stabbing, they're shooting. Nobody heard a gunshot, so it can't be a gun.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past them to put a gun in there, but I don't think so. It's not going to be fast-acting poison.
I'm actually, at the moment, not especially excited about who did it or how. And I don't know why. I don't think I'd particularly realised that before. Because I think I'm just kind of settled on the fact that it's Miles at the moment and it's not very interesting. I don't think, again, they would sacrifice a good character by having them become a murderer. And I know you can sometimes get away with it, Artoya, but I don't know. At the moment, I think I'm not feeling super jazzed about it.
No.
Although I totally think it's the right thing to do. Again, presumably, I hope they do this tonight. Otherwise, I'm going to look like a right idiot when this comes out tomorrow morning. I think it's the right thing to do for them to have a murder mystery because
But
it's
you
a
can
natural.
just edit.
It's a natural continuation of this story.
Even if we're wrong about any of this, it doesn't matter because it's all entertainment. This is just a podcast.
It's all fun.
And this is us talking like we're all in the front room and you guys are listening and we will not let you get a word in edgeways. Sorry about that. Or maybe you're having food or you're eating or something, so your mouth is full, you can't talk.
Or, we've been smug the last couple of weeks that we've known who the victim is and now it's the listeners'
It's mostly been you.
No, it has been a little bit me. And now it's the listeners'
I
time
think
to
this
feel
is gonna
smug
be-
because as they're listening to it, they know what happens on Friday's episode and we don't.
I would really be interested if I was a listener in this, the way we've approached this. I think this is a really good way of doing it because we're still talking about it as a mystery, even though everybody knows.
Yeah.
It's a really weird way of doing it, but I think it's more fun. It's funnier this way.
I'm struggling to remember what we saw on Friday's episode.
I just hope we're not super disappointed.
No, I know. I know that
Oh,
Theo
God.
is in the precinct, and I think Todd is as well.
I don't remember
I
that at
know
all.
that Maggie and Megan are at the top of the stairs, and then Will
Yeah,
comes
Will
along,
turns
doesn't
along.
he? But we don't
And
see
they all
anyone.
go, "Ooh."
We don't see anyone get pushed or anything. But I assume there's going to be a bit of a tumble there. I think Pauline. I think Pauline might have given away. Well, after we interviewed her, she said, "Oh, there was one scene where I had to lie down and look like I was dead."
Yes, that's right.
So I think that Maggie gets pushed down the stairs at some point in tonight's episode.
Or maybe she was tricking us.
I know that I can't think of anything that Carl does in tonight's episode. I've completely forgotten. Oh no, I think that there's another scene with him in the back of Ronnie's car. Do they stop somewhere and talk to somebody? Do they drive past the precinct? Maybe. I don't think we saw much of it. But anyway, you all know what's happening. You don't need to know about that. But yeah, we are in a bit of a. I hope it's an interesting position to be listened to. I'm enjoying it anyway. I don't know what anyone else thinks. So that was Monday's episode. Best episode of the week. Still sticking with that?
I never said. You said.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You didn't do your ranking, did you?
I didn't
But
rank it.
I thought off air.
I wasn't whacking it. I didn't rank it. I've just been minding my own business with my hands in my lap.
I thought that you off air had said that you preferred that one the best. It was a good one. It was just George.
Why are we ranking it without Fridays?
I'm just saying from what we know so far.
Okay.
Okay, right. Yeah, that was a good episode.
Next.
Tuesday. Next. I kind of went into Tuesday's episode. Well, I went into this week knowing which days would be about which characters, and certain characters' episodes I was more excited about seeing than others. And because I've not been Carl's number one fan, I've not quite got to love him as a character, even as an antagonist. I wasn't particularly looking forward to this episode as much as I was some of the other ones. I knew Monday and Thursdays would probably end up being my favourites, which they were. But you know what? I still really, really did enjoy Tuesdays, and part of it was Carl was entertaining, but there was also the Ronnie element, the Debbie element. That Tuesday was the Debbie day, really, wasn't it? So that's And there was some, Bennett, there was some really sad stuff. There was some really, really sad, tragic scenes with Debbie on Tuesday, weren't there? So the episode started, Time After Time is playing. I don't know whether that was a reference to anything. Was it
Did
just
they
a fact?
dance to that?
No, I don't think so. Oh, I don't know. There are other podcasts available that will have the full playlist, I'm sure. Time After Time, I guess, was a way of saying, we're showing this again. You know, it was a reference to the fact that it was a repeat of yesterday's opening, maybe.
If I will catch you, I will be waiting.
Is that, I don't know. Anyway.
It's not about repeating.
No, but Time After Time sounds like...
I saw a lot of people saying that it was very relevant to Carla and Lisa.
Oh, okay, I don't know. This was funny because do you remember when Emmerdale had their week? Was it the pre-Corriedale week? Or was it? Maybe.
I don't know.
Earlier this year, and apparently they had all those episodes that had Jay on Emmerdale explaining something, and they showed the same scene at the beginning of every episode for the week. And then at the end, I don't know. I suppose this was Corrie's version of this. I didn't mind.
I just worry whenever they do this that they haven't future-proofed the rights for this song.
Oh, who cares? Who cares? We'll worry about that in 20 years. She doesn't want anything... Abby. Abby is there. And we see him...
Maggie walking down wrong, blah-blah-dee-doo, blah-blah-dee-doo, and then here comes Abby looking like she wants to do a drug deal with Carl.
I don't know what she really wanted, but what she doesn't want is anything to do with Carl.
Where's she been? What's she going? Where's she come from? Where's
Who knows? Who knows?
Why's she over there?
She's just really mad that she betrayed Kevin for him.
Best man she ever knew.
Scumbag.
Which is a complete misremembering of the situation.
Yeah, he's not like...
Kevin is like... He's not even... he's not even in the top 50% of the people on the show.
Wow.
No, he's not. As a
harsh
person,
words for that icon.
As a person, he's actually terrible.
He's not. He's
just He's a really miserable old fart.
Anyway, we get to the hotel next, and Debbie's having a bit of a Debbie Downer time, isn't she? Because she's just kind of saying, "Oh, I've sent Carl off. I only just got to meet my son, and now I've sent him away again." And Kevin's like saying, "Look, don't worry, it's not your fault. Carl's a scumbag. He's a nasty piece of work."
A scumbag, to be clear.
Yes.
You missed the S at the beginning.
And it's not your fault, sister. It's not your fault. So Carl is not taking Abby's hints, particularly, is he? And he stalks her at work later. Well, he says
Why is he doing this?
He says he wants to apologise to her because he is planning to do a bunk to Germany, isn't he? And I think actually Tuesday's episode, it was 3 days ago as we're recording this. I think that I did have somehow managed to get a little bit more sympathy for Carl in this one, and that it did feel like a genuine apology that he wanted to give to Abby, because he is a chancer and he does only think of himself. But I don't think he's so cartoon pantomime evil villain that he's got a dark heart of stone. I think that.
No, he's like a man who needs to make a road and he doesn't care if the newts are going to die.
Yeah, but he might go and say sorry to Mr. and Mrs. Newt for paving over their little newt child.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of this. He's
like, sorry I destroyed the newt school, but hopefully they will be able to go to Newt University regardless if you get put in a really good homeschooling program. I honestly don't know how you newts really do it. I didn't know you lived that long, but I wish you all the best.
Yeah.
In your newt education.
I don't know what to say to that.
Really, skills for life, I say. Never stop learning.
The most learned newt of all time was, of course, Isaac Newton. Anyway, sorry. I just needed to stop that conversation direction, really, because we need to go on and talk about Coronation Street. He manages to wear Abby down. I can't believe she actually did this. It was very plot convenient, wasn't it, that she eventually agrees to go to the pub with him. If I was Abby, I would be like, sod right off. I'm not going to the pub with you.
It's not good to hold sadness and badness.
I suppose if she thought this, because he'd said this is the last time we could see each other, maybe she thought, what could possibly go wrong here?
Well, I guess she's like, well, I haven't got anything to give him, so it's fine.
Yeah. I'll do anything for a free cider.
Really, you're just after either closure, aren't you? You're after closure, and you can't... he probably is after money, but if you don't have any, then he can't get it, can he?
True. Up next, we had the very unexpected, saddest scene of the week, and we didn't see this at the press day. And
No, they didn't want to bum us out.
Duncan Lindsay put out that tweet after the press day saying, "I want a dry eye in the house after the Swallow wedding." If they'd have put this scene in there, tell you what, we'd have been flooded, because this was Debbie forgetting Ronnie's name, and I wasn't mentally prepared for this. I went into this week going, yeah, murder week, there's going to be suspects, there's going to be, who's going to get
Nothing
killed.
bad can happen in murder week.
It's all going to be all kind of grisly and shocking stuff. I was not ready for the utter heartbreak and devastation of Debbie calling Ronnie and going, man, you, tell me what your name is. It was, oh my God, it was horrible, wasn't it?
Does she not remember his name, or does she not know who he is?
I think that she does know that I think she said that she should know him. I don't think that she thought he was a stranger. It was a case of not knowing his name. And oh gosh, it was just horrible. It was utterly heartbreaking. And Sue Devaney, what a brilliant performance of this. And then he goes over to her and he's like, it's Ronnie. And then her reaction to just cry and go, of course it's Ronnie. Ronnie. And then she falls into his arms and starts crying her little heart out. It was awful.
I felt so badly for Ronnie here, because he is going to be... It's a very lonely place to be. Being the one who is not going through this. They've both got burdens of their own, unique, terrible trials ahead of them. And I think this is his first proper taste. This is the first time that he's seeing something that really feels like it's not just you forgot something.
Yeah, and it's not just one of
things.
those TMIs either.
Yeah.
But you know, if you're the partner of somebody who's diagnosed with dementia, you're gonna think, when's the first time gonna be that they forget my name? And I don't think he was prepared for it either.
Well, you also might have this kind of magical thinking, like, oh, you know,
she'll never forget me.
Yeah,
I'm Ronnie Bailey.
There's always some kind of magical thing.
I put the Ron in Coronation Street.
You have to... Coronation.
Coronation Street.
Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, no, it was utterly heartbreaking, and I think that Vinter did a really, really fabulous job on Tuesday's episode. Props to him. He was great, and not just because he potentially dropped a car on Carl as well. Sad stuff. So, we go back to the pub next, and Carl's telling Abby that he did love her once. What a load of rubbish. No, you didn't, you scumbag.
Well, he tries to pull the whole, I didn't deserve you, so maybe I jeopardised it.
Yeah, well, luckily Abby doesn't believe any of this, does she? She's like, oh, what? No, you were absolutely full of it. Sorry.
Why are you trying to pull these slick moves on a woman who married Kevin? You know that she's not swayed by fancy talk, otherwise she would never have been able to stomach him.
Yeah, I know.
She's like, it's not what you do, baby.
She doesn't judge people.
It's not what you say, it's what you do. Those mechanic hands.
She says, so look, greasy. I'm glad you're leaving, and before long it's going to be Carl who. And so off you go. But sadly for them, Kevin walks in and he's like, why, what on earth, why are you talking to him for? What are you doing?
Let me be entirely normal and not overreact about this.
He does a little bit, doesn't he? But then we cut to Debbie again, and she's very upset, saying it's the beginning of the end. And he says, look, I know you know my name, say it. And she says, Ronnie, it was a bit say my name, wasn't it? And he's like, yeah, you know, because she says, oh, I just couldn't see you from behind. He's like, oh, I'm going to go around with the name on the back of my shirt like a footballer. And they just have a lovely giggle about it. And that's another thing that I loved about this, that utterly heartbreaking, tragic scene, so well performed, ended on them having a little giggle together. And it's kind of shades of the Paul storyline, which was similarly bittersweet.
But I really also hate sometimes watching people having to make the best out of the worst situations and doing a really good job of it, because it breaks my heart that they're burdened with this horrible thing and they're still trying their best to find some lightness in the darkness. And although it's really good for a television show, it just really breaks my heart to think of all the people that maybe don't give themselves permission to just fall apart. Like, it's okay. You don't have to make a joke. You don't have to be okay with it. You can just be devastated, and that is okay as well.
Yeah.
You know? But I think the thing about these two characters is they are quite resilient.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially Debbie. Like, she's got this very positive attitude. And again, it's sad. It's like when you see, and I don't know if this is really, I don't mean this to be unflattering, like, comparison, but it's like when you see a video of a dog who's like got 2 legs missing or something, and they make it a little wheelchair, and then it runs around and it's so happy, and you're like, oh God, I wish you were happy because your life is as brilliant as you deserve it to be, instead of just being grateful for some kind of baseline minimum that lets you feel a bit normal for a minute.
I know.
It's really sad.
Yeah. I don't know how much of them we're likely to see next week, maybe, because if...
It depends on who killed who.
Yeah, like, I suppose, with everything that's going on with Theo, there's not necessarily room for those two, but it almost did feel like it could be a pausing point for that story. Not that it needed one. I mean, Debbie's just been in prison for a while. That was a little bit of a pause. But do you think Carl's going to stay around for long? Surely he can't be.
Might be dead.
He's not dead. He'll be all right.
Might be a murderer.
He could. Oh yeah, he could be, couldn't he? Could well be.
Let's not speculate because we've got too much to get.
Okay. What would be the point of that? Back to the pub again, and Fizz and Sally pop over from the wedding because they're coming to get a load of wine. And we also do get a bit of a Sophie Webster shout out, don't we? Who has apparently just come out of a non-binary relationship.
No, a relationship with a non-binary person.
Oh, is that not the same thing?
I wouldn't be able to tell you, but I think if Sophie identifies as female,
she does.
I don't think that it's a non-binary relationship.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But I wouldn't know. I only know what Sally's told me, and that is that she was in a relationship with a non-binary person.
Okay. Anyway, they get their wine, and then this is when Carl sticks his neb in. And I'd kind of forgotten all this, but there was a really cool confrontation between Fizz and Carl, wasn't there? And Fizz, who, she's had a bit of fire to her in the past, but she's kind of almost settled into the role of the kowtowing mum, sort of like quiet, meek, yes, Mrs. Connor sort of character, but she gives it all. Give him someone he deserves it.
You know that show on Netflix called Should I Marry a Murderer? Well, guess what? I did.
What?
Yeah, she did.
Who?
Fizz.
Who's a murderer?
John Stape.
Oh yes, he was a bit, wasn't he? See, I'm forgetting things.
Listen,
now.
I am not going to give you crap for that, and I hope you remember that in the future.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Anyway, she's saying to Carl, oh, you're toxic, nobody wants you here, you're the lowest of the low because you run Tyrone over and you ran away, you scurried off.
But Tyrone's fine now,
but that's beside the point. And I know we didn't really see any of his journey to recovery, but that would have been boring, wouldn't it? He could just walk now.
Yeah, don't question it.
We did our issues storyline with that and said how hard it was for him to do a couple of things.
Maureen Lipman wasn't here, so we just skipped it.
Yeah. And anyway, he calls her a nasty little fishwife, and it's like, whoa, what issue, what beef do you have with Fizz, Carl? This is probably the first time you've ever spoken to her.
I'm a Fizz wife, thank you, not a fishwife.
Whenever anybody says fishwife on Coronation Street,
I know exactly what you're thinking.
Char grilled fishwife.
Yeah, I just see Anna screaming with her knees on fire.
Doing a little Wallace and Gromit with her hands.
Can't move because it will genuinely set me on fire.
Oh, feeling. You'd seen all of these bad guys off, wouldn't they?
Oh, he would have murdered them all.
Yeah.
Said, which one do I start with?
And then he'd have crowed about it outside a lighthouse.
Love him.
Anyway, Ben's telling Carl to sling his hook, and then he does that thing where he does a whoa, like he goes to go and beat up. Who was he coming at?
Tyrone was there.
Oh yeah, Tyrone. Yeah, that's right. He does like a fake out at Carl. It was like that bit in The Simpsons where Lisa and Bart are swinging their arms around and saying, "I'm going to move forward, and if you get hit, it's your own fault." It's what it reminded me of anyway. I don't know whether I'm.
Well, he laughs at Tyrone for flinching, and calls him a tiny little pathetic coward.
Aww.
And then he goes away.
Heads off towards Victoria Street, where he bumps into Theo next to his van. So he's just got out of his van, having been hammered by Gary Mallett.
He was whacking it.
Yeah, the van's been hit by Gary. And then he puts his hand on Theo's shoulder.
Theo's like, I'm not scared of you. Gary's just whacking at it, and I survived that, so...
Anyway, they have a bit of a standoff with Carl telling Theo that they're more alike than they might think. We were both on the poster for this murder week, and then he does it. I didn't get this, but somebody on the Facebook group posted a picture of him going up to him and said, "Did Carl just grab Theo's family jewels there?" And people were like, yeah, he did
Was
actually.
he trying? Was he having a?
He was kind of he was having a measure.
Did he?
Apparently so. Apparently he grabbed him by the you-know-what and was like... He kind of invites him to go and get a room together, doesn't he? Who's carrying on that little flirty banter.
This courtship
from last
is
week.
incredibly intrusive.
Anyway, he doesn't mean it, and Theo is not in the mood for it, even if he did. So before long, they're on the floor knocking some bells out of each other, and we had the bit where his leg goes up. It doesn't Carl like launch himself at Theo, and then Theo's leg pops in the air like a cartoon or something.
They're both on the floor, rolling around, whacking each other.
Yeah. When
Kevin comes along, like a little chihuahua in the middle of a Rottweiler fight, and scurries off.
Kevin pops along, doesn't he? And he picks up the envelope on the floor, the Debbie envelope, which Carl doesn't notice.
He breaks
the
it
one
up,
with the money in,
grabs the money, and runs off.
No, he doesn't run off. Theo runs off.
All right, okay.
Doesn't he?
Yeah,
Theo bogs off because Carl's left with his brother Kevin being called a loser by him. And Carl says, I did care about you once, actually, and for Debbie. But anyway, I'm off now. I'm going to start a new life. Never saw Abby coming. And Kevin says, look, Abby doesn't want to keep in touch with you. But he reminds Carl that he's got his number. And
he's basically saying, look, this is the end of us together.
Thank you.
This is the end of our relationship with each other, but we know that Debbie's gonna.
My notes really are a minefield here, aren't they?
Yeah, Debbie's gonna need you. So we've got your number. I'm never going to need anything from you. This is the end, but we're not going to stop you from finding out about Debbie.
Have a shake hands.
I thought that was really nice of Kevin, even though he only did it because he was secretly laughing in his
I don't
face.
think he did that otherwise.
But no, because he knows that Debbie, it would mean a lot to Debbie to at least give Carl this avenue.
I suppose so, yeah. And then as Carl walks off towards the tram station, Kevin does his... For the purposes of the audience, I'm going to take this brown envelope and show it to the camera and have a little bit of a smirk. He was so smug
happy
with himself. Well, yeah, he couldn't even contain himself.
Do you know what's so funny? This is the happiest he's been since actually, including the time he got told he doesn't have cancer anymore. Because when they told him he don't have cancer, he was like, oh, but how am I going to make Abby feel guilty now?
Yeah, I'm not going to tell anyone about this. I'm going to keep it to myself just to milk the sympathy.
I've got £2,000. I've got £2,000.
That's what it was, wasn't it? 2,000, yeah. Anyway, he heads off, and later on we see that he has sent Carl a picture message of him doing the best smirk. I love this. Great smirk acting there.
And great angle as well. Great.
Yeah, right up the nose.
Yeah, he's like, look at these nostrils. Look at this
watch.
Hold only contempt for you. I've got your money.
He's such a plonker.
You're officially dead to me, is what he says.
He was so smug about it that he couldn't even wait until maybe Carl would get on the plane.
Wait for him to go to Germany.
He didn't even get halfway down the street, did he, before he did it? What is Kevin, you idiot?
He is a bit.
The hubris of the man. So anyway, at the hotel, Ronnie tells the Bailey boys about Debbie's memory lapse earlier, and they say, well, good job that Carl's going.
Well, no, he's devastated because he thinks that this stress with Carl has brought Debbie's illness
he did think that, didn't he?
Forward, and that he's losing her quicker than he would have done if Carl had never been around. And they're like, look, we can't do anything about that, but at least Carl's going.
Yeah. It makes sense. Like, Carl has caused an awful lot of the stress that Debbie's been suffering these past few months, whether it was the crash or the flood.
Ronnie's like, look, listen, let me run something past you boys, right? Do you think that Debbie's stress would be higher or lower if I crushed her son under a car? Think about it. Don't answer first. Think about it first. Higher or lower if I crushed?
I think it'd probably be lower, bruv.
Lower?
Yeah.
Excellent work. Right. Thank you for being my sounding board.
No problems anytime.
Bye, Michael, you useless arsehole. See you later.
Yeah. Thanks for appearing in the scene, Michael Bailey. You, as always, added
nothing
more than I can say to it.
Poor Michael, his only contribution to this was going, but everyone forgets people's names. Michael, it's not the same. Shut up. I know you're trying to help, love. Sit down and have a daiquiri or something. I love Michael Bailey so much. I just wish he got given more to do.
I know,
Both of our namesakes have let us down on this show.
At least Gemma, at some point, was one of the top tier characters, I'm going to say she was. Gemma was great at some point in the past, wasn't she?
I loved her with Henry, I have to say.
Yeah, and she's not been too bad. I think she's just petting her with chairs.
Sorry, but still, I still think that Michael got one of my favourite moments of all time, which is when he found out that Grace was
baby.
not anyone's.
Tiana.
Just like Tiana, sorry, yeah, Tiana just was grown in a lab.
Yes, that was
That's
a great
the
moment.
twist.
Yeah, and it's been downhill ever since for him. Anyway, tram station time. So this is when Carl gets his picture message of Kevin. I keep saying the word smug. There must be a better word for it.
No.
But I don't think there is.
He's like, oh dear,
Nothosaurus
I'm mad
is
about
here.
this.
Yeah, Carl's like, what the heck? So he heads back to the garage, crowbars his way in there, deletes the CCTV footage of him doing said crowbarring, and then raids the office looking for... What's he actually looking for?
Money, probably.
Probably is, isn't he? Yeah.
Or stuff to sell.
Yeah. Well... Oh, no. Well, maybe.
Yes.
Because what he eventually ends up doing is he can't find anything, presumably.
Drinks some whiskey.
Because we've been in there,
blooded.
haven't we? It's all prop. Even that coffee that was in there, not real.
No, well, there was a bag of £2,000 in it, but I took it.
Anyway,
Kate Brooks said I could take it.
the long and short of it is he decides that he's going to do a little bit of tinkering underneath, sabotaging Kevin's car, which just so happens to be in there for its MOT.
How do we know that's Kevin's car?
Said,
everyone knows this is Kevin's car.
Yeah, there was dialogue that said, "What's Kevin's car doing in here?"
If you listen to what everyone says, you run out of time.
I didn't. Yeah.
I don't listen to what people say. I listen to what they do.
Anyway, when he is underneath the car, a shady figure walks into the garage and we see their feet and legs maybe, and the next thing we know, God blimey, he's been Harry Hewited, hasn't he?
Oh, he's bought it.
He didn't buy it, but it was close. Harry Hewitt, of course, for the not so geeky Coronation Street fans, was one of our favourite characters actually from the early years of the show, who lived at number
I don't care where he lived.
7 Coronation Street. And he went over to Ireland, and then he came back for a wedding, and somebody's car broke down. What was this?
Well,
1969, I think. And then he was underneath the car, and then it crushed him. And then Bear Club said he bought it.
Yeah, he bought it, mate.
That has gone down in
I don't think it was. Was it Len or was it just the other guy?
I don't know. It might have been the other guy. Anyway, Carl's
not
been
dead
crushed.
yet. He's just very
poorly.
He's depressed, literally.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder how many viewers thought, it's Carl. Carl's the one.
I did.
But it wouldn't make sense narratively, because we knew that there would be Wednesday and Thursday's episode where they'd be teasing, oh, maybe these people are going to die.
No.
But it wouldn't have worked if we'd known that Carl was
Depends
dead.
on how many people die.
We've been told it's one. I don't know. I think there's still going to only be one. Who knows? But anyway, yeah, that was great. That was another moment in the press day, wasn't it? Where there was a collective gasp around the room.
Yeah.
Because that was nobody expected that.
Well, when we watched it, I didn't know in what order they were showing it to us. I didn't know that I knew that every day was going to be something, but I didn't know that they put it in an order of how it was going to be shown necessarily on the week.
I don't know.
They might have told me. Doesn't mean I know. Doesn't mean I was paying attention.
You're a speaker, not a listener.
Exactly. Podcasts aren't for listening, are they? They're for talking at people.
Exactly. And sometimes we agree with each other what we say, and sometimes we
just talk
we
over
respond to each other, and sometimes we just say our opinions. And
I don't know what I'm not listening to you.
Anyway, so Carl's been splattered, and he's having a bit of a gurgle on the floor there, but we can't find out what happens to him next. We might as well. So I'll just skip the next bit and we'll return to it. The next thing we see is Ronnie getting into the car outside the garage, breathing very heavily to himself, driving off past Jodie, who's escaping from the Platt's house with her box and a bag. And then they've got Carl on the back seat. The camera pans round and it's Carl. And he's looking a little bit worse for wear. And he's like going, I need a hospital. And Ronnie says, it's not often you get a second chance, and I don't make the same mistake twice.
Why is he a Londoner?
I don't know. That sounds like the sort of thing
that
Phil Mitchell might do and say.
I'm going to drive you all the way down to the Queen Vic and leave you to die on EastEnders.
I thought Nigel's going to die on Wednesday's episode, so I thought you might want to be there so you can see what it's like when somebody with dementia dies, just to prepare yourself for Debbie. I know this is Carl, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. Anyway, so
is Ronnie going to drive him off and kill him?
Is that... I mean... That's what the implication isn't
Is
it?
Ronnie the one who crushed him in the first place?
Again, implication.
Because at the moment, before this all happens, interspersed with this, Debbie and Kevin are talking in her flat. So that kind of
means it can't be them.
No.
Yeah, because they're in the flat and Debbie's just feeling super guilty about abandoning Carl, and Kevin says, "No, don't give him a second thought."
I stole his money back.
Look at this, I've got the money back, and Debbie's a bit mad at him, saying, "What did you do this? Now you're going to get himself into even more." No, he's going to get himself into even more trouble. He's going to start robbing the first person he comes across.
I felt really bad for both of them.
Oh, I know. Kevin thought he was doing the right thing here,
yeah.
But he ends up getting an envelope of cash thrown at him as he leaves the flat.
That's not the worst thing that can happen to you.
So anyway, want them, what done it? But somebody, I'd hope that it wasn't Ronnie.
It'd be more exciting if it was somebody else.
I like the idea that Ronnie did it, even though Ronnie being a violent man doesn't necessarily sit nicely with me. But
it doesn't help.
Carl,
it doesn't help Debbie.
Well, Vinter told us when we had our interview with him that he's usually wouldn't hurt a fly, but Carl's a fly.
Yeah,
he literally said that. So
would you kill somebody for me? You wouldn't, would you? Terrible husband.
I'm not getting that on tape. Just because you did last week on the podcast, you said you were going to kill me.
That's a good job that I fed your voice into an AI programme, isn't it? So that nobody knows you're dead.
So anyway, it seems like it was Ronnie that flattened him. I would prefer if it wasn't, just to add a little extra mystery there. And I don't know whether we'll find out in tonight's episode. It could well be that as you're listening to this, you know one way or the other whether it was him or not. But that was a really neat twist. I think, I don't really know. I don't really know what happens to those two in today's episode. I don't think we saw very much.
Ronnie's going to let him go,
unless I've forgotten. Is he just going to take him to hospital? I think he's too much of a good guy.
I know, but he's really screwed it up now. I hate it when stuff like this happens. I don't know. Anyway, shall I move on?
So, if Carl... No, there's no point saying if Carl is the body, because we know he's not. Okay.
Well, if Carl dies, it's clearly Ronnie. Although the twist would be it wasn't Ronnie, he just found him like that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It can't be Kevin or Debbie. Because they were both together. It could have been Abby.
Could have been Abby. Abby knows how to work a jack, doesn't she?
Could have been Theo as well.
Yeah. Anyway.
And Miles. Just like, why not?
Why not?
Why not start a mass murder spree?
I enjoyed the episode. I thought that... I think Ronnie's and Debbie's inclusion of that made the episode for me. And actually, it was all good. It was all bloody good. Kevin with his envelope.
Yeah,
Carl,
that was so
Carl
funny.
for me was a bit of a weak link. But even Carl doing his propositioning of Theo, and I've loved them for that the past week. Like when Theo was being his funny self. When Theo was a bit unhinged last week, wasn't he? When he was talking with Gary, he's like, "Oh yeah, what are you gonna do?" It's great. I love him crowing.
I do. I love Trump.
It was another great episode. It was a good episode.
Let me do Wednesday.
Wednesday is the episode that you didn't enjoy as much.
I can't see me loving nobody but you.
Awooga, the factory's been broken into.
Do you think that would be a better siren?
We're just doing the audio description of the episode. No, we don't need it.
Right, so this is the Jodie episode. She's packing. Lily catches her.
There's
picking
the
up
audio
some
description
money.
for anybody listening who can't hear musical sound effects. But they can hear dialogue.
Some people have, is it called a musica or something? But they hate the sound of music. They literally hate it. Not the film, the music.
Just hate war films.
I don't like any film with Nazis in them, and I think if you like it, you must be a Nazi.
I think I've maybe seen a bit of Sound of Music before.
It's too long.
It's bloody long.
It's far too long.
From what I've seen, it was really, really boring. I don't think I enjoyed it.
I think it's a film you put on because it's Christmas.
It's like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Sorry, Sally Ann Matthews, I know it's your favourite.
Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
No, I don't think I've seen that. I don't think I've seen Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
Excellent film.
It's like they made Mary Poppins and then they just couldn't get any better from that.
Do you
Although...
we should do some Corrie
No.
stuff. Yeah.
What's the other one? There's not a direct link between Sound of Music and this because now we've got into Bed Knobs and Broomsticks, which was a live action with cartoons. Who Framed Roger Rabbit was the natural successor to that one. And now this summer we have got Coyote versus Acme, which I'm really looking forward to, actually.
I wouldn't say that Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I guess we just did seven links of sausages with Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
To
Sound of Music,
from
to
Sound of
Coyote versus
But
Acme.
you can't just be like, that film reminds me of another film. That's not how it works.
I put, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, Mary Poppins, Pete's Dragon.
Oh, that's awful.
Sound of Music.
Sound of Music didn't have any animation in it.
I know it didn't.
They're like, we're going to do Hitler as a cartoon.
They're all, in my head, kind of films that when we were young, you saw on your grandma's video shelf and thought, don't put that on.
It was on Channel 3, because we didn't have Channel 4.
we always had Channel 4, Gemma, we're not that old.
Yes, we did. No, we didn't. When did Channel 4 launch?
Early 80s. I know we were born in the early 80s. We did not see the launch of Channel 4, Gemma. We saw Channel 5 launch, so that had Spice Girls in it.
1982. Well,
Exactly.
I did, so...
Ever since all my life, there has been...
Excuse me, when I was a month old, I was like, this channel is going to change my life.
This channel's going to be so non-conformist, and it's going to have things like The Word and...
The alternative Christmas message.
Lynn Perry's going to be doing something very dodgy on this channel at some point in the future.
Anyway, Jodie's packing and Lily finds her. Sorry to interrupt you, but we're talking about Corrie now. Lily interrupts her and goes, can we watch Sound of Music?
Lily's just Jodie wasn't the only one packing today. Jack P. Shepherd, fresh from his stint on Celebrity Big Brother, where he's walking around in his pants, is like, oh, can I get my trousers off on Corrie now?
No, too much. Lily catches her picking up her money, and she's like, oh, you were going to go without telling us. And she's like, shut up.
Should have packed in your bedroom, Jodie.
Meanwhile, Shona's telling David that Jodie is really messed up because of leaving her family and all this time, and now she's going to go. And he goes inside to enjoy the wedding. Lily is really upset that Jodie wants to leave, and she's like, you lied, you said you wanted to be, Oh,
can I just go back, sorry, to that last scene? I think that second scene, I was kind of half watching, half not watching. I was trying to make my notes, but I think that had the reference to the picture in, which I then didn't get when it was brought up later in the episode. Thank you very much to those lovely people out there, who sent us. No, honestly, I asked for feedback. I asked for people to explain something for me on the show. I said, what was the deal with that picture? I've kind of forgotten. And we had a number of people reaching out and explaining what the deal with that picture was.
Yes, thank you.
But I think it was a bit of a blink your ears and you'll miss it kind of.
Yeah, don't swallow hard because you won't hear it.
Yeah, so this picture, right, was young Jodie when Shona left the family. Jodie found out where she was living. She drew a picture of her and Shona and little baby Clayton and a little dog on a beach, and then she sent it to Shona, but Shona later said that I never got that picture.
I don't know why she lied about this, but she did.
No, I don't remember. And that was back in January when it was first brought up. We were talking.
You think if anybody could be relied upon to remember these things, it would be us?
But no, not at all. But we were talking to someone else yesterday, and they said that they thought that was not the best drama storytelling, that it relied on your viewers remembering something
quite
that was
insignificant.
Yeah.
Right. So
we have now explained it to anyone else who was similarly confuddled like we were.
Lily's really upset. Says you lied. Jodie says, "Look, things got really messy. The Dutch camera angles are making me feel queasy. I hope I'm not pregnant with Kit's baby. I'll come back for you when when I'm in a better place." But Lily's completely distraught about this. She says, "You mean nothing to me. You only care about yourself." And
I have a sharp intake of breath here because I think that Grace Ashcroft Gardner, who played Lily, did a fantastic job in this scene. I thought she was bloody brilliant, and I think it's probably some of her best work to date on Coronation Street. Just saying. Continue.
She steps outside and sees Shona, who catches her crying, but before she can do anything, the two goons that Olivia saw...
Gemma, they're not goons. They're not goons, are they? How are they credited?
I've forgotten.
Bloke 1 and Bloke 2.
Oh yeah, Bloke 1 and 2. Actually, no, it's rude. Bloke 1 and Bloke 2, because they are separate blokes. It's not fair to put Bloke 2 in
the credits.
1.
I loved it. So I referred to them as Goon 1, I think, in my notes here. But yeah, they were literally credited as Bloke 1 and Bloke 2, which I love. And it's a nice little podcast callback, I suppose, to Man 1, who...
No, but it was Man 2 that we liked.
No, I thought we loved Man 1.
Oh, I don't remember.
Nick Dutton? I think he was man 1.
I don't
He was
remember
the
which man he was.
Who did he have a chat with? Was it Paul?
Man 2.
No, I think he was talking with Paul.
Right, listen, I don't care. So the man 1 and man 2 come over.
No, bloke 1 and bloke 2.
Bloke.
They're the goons. They're the blokes in the van.
Yeah, Olivia.
Who've been sent to
rough everyone up.
Get the memory stick back.
So, back Shona into a corner. Shona says, "Do you want her? I'll screen the street down." Jodie overhears and walks out, going, "Leave her alone. I'm the one that you're after." So then inside the house, Jodie gives bloke 1 the stick, the USB stick, the memory. What do they keep calling it?
They call it a hard drive.
The hard drive. It's not.
I'm going to say it's not a hard drive.
USB stick. And it sends them away. So they leave, and then Jodie cries in Shona's arms. Meanwhile, David is getting completely bladdered at the wedding.
This was so fun. Jack B. Shepherd is always the show. He's stealing the show. He is just the best. And drunk acting, sometimes it works for me and sometimes it didn't. But I love this. And was he nicking Carla's whiskey, was it?
Yeah, she's like, yeah, carry on, I don't care.
Yeah, because Sally comes and tells David off for pinching it. And Carla's like, it's a party, Sal, loosen up. Brilliant. And then he's drunkenly under the desk later, isn't he?
Telling Shona, forgive yourself for leaving Jodie because you were just a kid with a kid, just like Sarah Lou.
Sarah Lou, shout out.
Then Sally and Tim come in because they always get randy at weddings and they want to shag, which I always hate, but everyone thinks it's funny.
You didn't think they were actually going to do it, did you? I thought it was hilarious. I was wondering, how far are they going to take this scene? Is David going to have to sit under the desk? I was expecting, honestly, there to be possibly a scene where Tim and... No, not the action.
If this desk is rocking...
Yeah, I know.
I'm not doing invoices.
I thought there might be a scene later when Tim's doing his flies up or something, and then a traumatised David crawls out from under the desk.
It's too much.
That would have been...
Michael, I draw the line there because murder is one thing, but sex is completely another.
Completely off the table. We are British.
Well, it is on the table, but...
it would have been on the table if David hadn't popped up and said, hang on a minute, I'm here.
Right, so Jodie's telling Shona, I don't deserve your sympathy. And Shona says, what was on that memory stick? Everyone wants to know. And she says, something stupid that I did. I'm not in trouble,
again,
but it's all sorted out. No more lies.
Yeah, what was true there, what wasn't there? Is she just making it up as she's gone along? There's so much that I don't know what to believe about her. Oh, I want to say thank you to, sorry, I don't remember who it was, on our Facebook group pointed out that when Jodie was looking at that haulage company online the other day, the picture of the supposed woman that it stopped at, that she was staring at, was actually Olivia. The child. So it is true. And she was doing a bit of promo in her dad's van magazine. But it proves that side of the story, that Olivia's dad is in vans and lorries in haulage, that's true. Just saying.
So she is... The memory stick, we all know now, has Friday's episode on it. And she's like, you can't look at this yet because it would really freak you out if you knew that we were all being filmed.
That is proper.
So I've got to keep this. Bloke 1 and Bloke 2 absolutely love Coronation Street.
They say, I want to know who dies. Is it you? Do we kill you?
He's like, I'm going to go...
get an alibi if that's the case.
I'm the villain, so I'm going to go and upload this early to get that person in trouble that works at Coronation Street, whose job it is to upload the YouTube things and not make sure that they come on before they're supposed to.
I was waiting for that to happen today.
I'm literally just going to check now.
They must have got super... Just check. You've not uploaded it early, have you? You've not... Can we just see where this is scheduled for? You're not doing it, are you? You're not going to stick it... Not just YouTube. It's not going to turn up on ITVX as well, is it? Literally, they must have...
Who has not done something like that at work? Because I have.
But after the last time that it happened, goodness me. But I was still even waiting, is it going to turn up in Canada? And they said, oh, yeah. Damn it! We stopped them from uploading early in the UK, but they've put it on over there. But they didn't. It is currently, as we're recording this, 7 o'clock on Friday, and it hasn't leaked yet. Thank goodness.
Bloke 1 is like, I've got so many Canadian friends, they cannot wait to see this, I'm going to post it to them. And then 2 weeks later, it turns up exactly at the same time it airs on television.
Well, that's probably how they get them over there, isn't
probably,
it? They just ship a memory stick over.
Probably. Right, listen.
What?
So... There, no more lies. Lily hates me. I'm so sorry I had to say goodbye. Shona says, don't say goodbye. Stay. I wish it could be different. I'd give anything for it to be different. Like to us two and Clayton on the beach with a dog. And Jodie's like, what? A dog? But that's the picture I drew. How would you know if you never got the picture?
Yeah, this is where I was just like, what's going on here?
And Shona's like, right.
I was watching it.
I'm going to the hospital to visit the baby that I forgot we had.
Yeah. I haven't said that in the script for weeks, have they?
She's like, we got so much crap off Michael for going to visit our boring baby that we put us off, honestly.
No, they did listen to it and they were going, yeah, why are we visiting her for all this time?
Because of the hospital coffee.
And they haven't even been able to use the excuse that Audrey's there. She's still supposedly in France, isn't she?
Well, I'm going to see my baby. Bye.
And I'm going to be all night.
Jodie is very angry when Shona goes that she has been ignored all this time on purpose. So she goes and sees that Shona's left her phone, just like Todd. And so she listens to David's drunken message, again, about her. And she doesn't like that either.
She's not happy with what she hears.
She's just hearing bad stuff about her, left, right and centre. It's like she's reading Apple podcast reviews.
I'd like to hear Shona's explanation about why she denied.
It's going to be something really tame. Like,
I think it will be.
I didn't want to upset you by telling you that I had it all this time because you would have been upset.
Well, what I think is quite another... jump the shark moment, not jump the shark, just suspension of disbelief, is that not only did Shona keep this picture from quite a long time ago, she had it in a really handy box next to her bed where Jodie could
Didn't
uncover
she have it inside a picture?
No, it was just behind it. It was just she had a box of trinkets next to her bed, like
Shona's like, look, I also have a box of stolen items.
This is a family failing, isn't it?
You know how Dad taught us to always steal and put things in a box, and it had to be weird things that nobody wanted in the first place. So when I found this picture, I couldn't remember if you drew it for me, if I just stole it off of you. So I put it in my stolen picture box, and then I couldn't bring it up to you because I didn't want to get myself in trouble.
It is funny that they've both got boxes, isn't it?
Do you not have a box of trinkets?
No.
No,
I don't.
I'm starting to think about it.
I've got an attic.
Yeah, we actually do have a mass of crap that could have been stolen.
Yes.
We are English.
Yeah. So we cut to the bedroom. Is it the bedroom next?
No.
Oh.
We cut to Shona going outside, and the Battersbys are all striding down the road.
I didn't put that apostrophe in Battersby's. I'm going to change that note right now. Battersby's, no apostrophe.
They're led by Toya, who's freaking out, going, I'm not going to say anything. Shut up, leave me alone. And Shona says to Toya, do you want to have a supportive chat tomorrow?
So this is Toya after Megan's left and Eva and Leanne are a bit mad
sorry, no, Toya's mad at, they're all mad at each other.
They're all mad at each other.
We'll explain in
tomorrow,
a minute.
Yeah.
You know what happened. I don't know why you're listening to this. Jodie is raiding the Platt's bedroom and finds this box. I don't know why she's looking for things to steal, isn't she?
I don't know.
I think she is. I think she's like, I'm so mad, I want to steal something. I'm going to find something to nick. Yeah.
Well, she's invited. Hasn't she?
No, I don't know.
No, they haven't. Not at this part, they haven't. You're right. So,
She goes.
She surely couldn't have gone up there just to think, I bet if I look hard enough, I'll find that picture.
No, she's not looking for the picture. She's looking for anything that might be precious that she can take.
Okay.
They firmly established this is what she does. This is not surprising. She finds this old picture that she had drawn, somehow magically.
Don't ask too many questions
immediately.
About how she's able to.
You wouldn't be able to find that in this house.
No.
She wipes away a tear.
Also, why did the picture not burn up when the house caught on fire last year? I hear that paper is quite flammable.
No.
It wasn't even singed.
No. Hayley's wedding photos are all fine.
No, they're not.
Oh.
They're not at all.
Oh.
Can I give a shout out to
I think the picture's fine. I think it was the love notes that went up in flames.
Okay. The set designer at Coronation Street who's just designing bedrooms for the characters at the moment.
Yeah.
For the single scenes. I love a bedroom scene on Coronation Street, not for Randy reasons, but because it's a room that we very rarely see. And in the past 6 months we've seen Todd's bedroom, Roy's bedroom, David and Shona's bedroom.
How come they can't?
I appreciate you, Coronation Street, for doing this. I know there's plenty of other sets that we probably should be seeing. and maybe we not seeing them because you've got to get your bedroom in. But yeah, it's like the expanded universe of Coronation Street, isn't it? You know, you got your Marvel universe, and the Coronation Street expanded universe is sometimes you get to see more than the lounge and the kitchen, and that's the best that we can hope for.
Where was this energy when they were packing?
Exactly.
So she then gets a message on Shona's phone, and it's David saying, "We've got the house to ourselves tonight. We should make the most of it." And Jodie hearts the message. So he's talking to Kirk, David is, and then he sees that Shona's hearted his booty call, thrusts his hips at Kirk's face, and so Thunderbird rushes home, finds a lit candle on the table and a cut baguette, which, you know, is the language of love, crawls up the stairs.
It's French, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's romantic.
Cook gets into the bedroom, starts taking his kit off, climbs into bed with Jodie, who is lying there like a character in a horror movie, just, you know, waiting to unleash herself. He starts kissing her, says she smells like a sexy sweet shop, starts rubbing her all over, and then gives her a big snog and realises who it is and jumps up with a start.
Yeah, so he managed what Martin didn't manage. No, I'm trying to remember. Sorry, this is just a reference to what I mentioned on the short as well. So in that very room, presumably, way back in the early 90s, Carmel Finnan, the evil nanny, slid into bed with Martin Platt, or maybe it was the other way around, I don't remember, because maybe she was
evil
also...
Martin Platt.
Yeah, the evil Martin Platt. She was also a bit of a bunny boiler, wasn't she? And I can't remember what happened. Was it just the next morning he wakes up and she's there, or... I don't know, but she then accused Martin of impregnating her, didn't she? And that's why when she falls down the stairs and she's like, "Oh, my baby." Yeah. There's no baby. Anyway, little potted history of Carmel Finnan for you there.
Gina did this to Tim.
I don't remember much of what happened because from that story, I just kind of like to blank out from my memory anything that makes Gina look bad.
It wasn't her fault. It was the script.
Love Gina.
He's completely sober now, stumbles down the stairs, going, "What the hell are you playing at?" And she's playing along as if he had wanted this and blames him, saying, "Oh, you saw me lying there. You thought you were quids in."
I wonder how realistic, you know, that would be. How drunk do you have to be to not realise who it is?
I don't know. I've never been that drunk.
No.
So...
I don't know.
She's pretending that she didn't know that he was there, and it wasn't... she's trying to pretend she's all the innocent. And then David's like, "You said my name, you know it was me, you kissed me."
This is good.
You were pretending to be her.
He was like... What did he say? He's like, "Oh, you were all like, David."
Yeah,
and she was like, "No, I wasn't. There was a question mark at the end. It was David." That was a great
This
little
was
exchange.
a really funny scene.
Well, it was. Then when Sarah Lou appears later.
Yeah, because we got to see this, and obviously we saw this 2 weeks before it happened, and then we couldn't work. It was really interesting to see how are they going to get to this point where these characters end up in this situation.
There was still very little, even at the end of this episode, hint that Jodie could possibly die here. This was the weak link storytelling, I think. They just didn't give themselves quite enough time to establish her and why people wanted to bump her off.
So she says, "Look, we got a connection. I forgive you but you got to resist your urges."
What urges?
And then he realizes that she's got shown his phone, and that she seduced him and tricked him
by love hearting the message.
But then he looks again and it's gone, and Jodie's like, "Oh, maybe it wasn't there ever at all."
How long after sending a love heart on your phone can you unsend it? Because you can't.
Yes, you can. It's easy.
No, I know. I don't know whether there was a time limit for... There is for editing text, isn't there, on iOS?
I don't care.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
She's unhearted the message.
Sarah and Kit are on the factory step, and he is reassuring her about the fact that, you know, Todd's going to be fine. Then he tells her, "I've got to get down to the station." And Sarah hears David and Jodie arguing in the house. So she goes in there.
Go boil someone else's bunny.
And David's like, "Listen, Jodie's mad as a box of frogs. Listen to what she's done." And Jodie tells her version of the story, which Sarah seems to believe. And David's like, "No way, in your dreams, Glenn Close." And
and Sarah says, "A fatal attraction. He was having an affair."
And Jodie says you said I smell like a sexy sweet shop. Sarah thinks that's hilarious.
That was brilliant. I love that. Sarah's reaction. That probably was like Tina's reaction as well, wasn't it? I don't think there was much acting required in that one, but it was so funny. I love how they turned this really nasty, dark seduction scene into something that was actually really funny and stupid. Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to be taken seriously because Sarah's like, well, listen, I've got to hear all the evidence before I decide who's right or wrong here. Let me hear what you've got to say. Like, it was so low stakes.
Yeah, it really, really was.
It wasn't like, oh, here we go, here's an affair storyline that's going to last 6 months. It was
Hopefully
like,
not.
Well, I hope not anyway.
Again, we don't know what happens on Friday with this because we have not watched it yet. I just want to put the reminder out there. But the last thing that I want from this, and this would drag it down so much, is if Shona decides, oh, David, you got into bed with my sister. Oh, you fancy my sister. Oh, I'm going to leave you now. I'm going to take my sister's side. David, sing your hook. Let's hope it doesn't happen. That's why I wasn't particularly bothered about it. And I know that I don't like... I sometimes hate the idea of somebody coming in between some of my top couples. But with this one, it was, like you said, so low stakes. I had no fear about, could this be the end of David and Shona? So I just went along with the ride and loved it. But I don't even want them to even flirt with the idea
it gets very
Shona's
dark.
going to kick David out.
It gets very dark because it does actually get dark because Jodie can sense it's not going her way. David tells her that Shona's going to kill her when she finds out about this. And then Jodie reveals that she knows about what happened with Josh and David.
And to remind our listeners about who Josh is.
Josh is the one who assaulted David. He raped David. And he was like a friend of his, and I can't remember, boxing, prison, I can't remember. But
yeah, they had a bit of a boxing match, didn't they?
So she says, David, when are you going to stop being the victim? And Sarah immediately goes, that's enough of you, get out, I'm on, we're a team now, you've gone too far
You
here.
said earlier it seemed that Sarah seems to take Jodie's side, and I actually wrote that down as a note because I thought that maybe it was going to go that way.
I thought she was more like, I don't know who's... I think she just thought it was funny.
But yeah, Jodie just went a little bit too far by it there, didn't she?
Yeah, this was something absolutely, completely unneeded, totally disgusting for Jodie to say. So they kick her out.
But it is also like a case of... We've got a couple of big revelations this week of girls chatting in the evening over a bottle of wine and things being said that should maybe be kept secret.
Yes.
For your loved one's secrets that you're just kind of blabbing away there, unless Jodie knows some other way, like in the news or what have you. If she's obsessive with David, if she's got her own little room with pictures of David all over it and newspaper clippings.
That could be something that Shona and David talk about, and he thinks that she told. Thing is, Shona's the kind of character who would either never say a word or would just blab it to everybody.
Yeah.
It depends on how they want to write her, because she's got that I've got verbal diarrhea because I was shot in a box problem. So it's possible that she said something very bluntly, but it is also possible that she could have found it out from somewhere. So anyway, she's been kicked out. Someone seems to be watching her, Jodie. So David and Sarah sit with a drink in the kitchen, and Sarah says to him, Shona will not believe Jodie over you, don't worry. And David's just repulsed at the whole thing at this point. It's not funny, it's horrible. He's been made to feel incredibly bringing up all these horrible things from his past, and he's just over it. At the precinct, which is where Jodie ends up, the camera pans down from Maggie and Megan having a confrontation to Jodie, who sees somebody and says, oh, what do you want now? Please just leave me alone. So who could this be? This could be...
Again, it will have been revealed by the time this airs. And I think on the press day they did show us. I think it's Theo. We're supposed to...
Why does she know him?
Oh, everyone knows Theo. He's the local bad boy.
Why is she saying, what do you want now? What did they have in common before?
I don't remember. And I might be misremembering this.
You could think it's bloke 1, bloke 2, Olivia, the dad that we've never seen before, who would be a prime suspect to kill somebody in Coronation Street, because they love to just bring in a character you've never heard of.
I think the cliffhanger was left that we were supposed to think it's probably bloke 1 and bloke 2.
Yeah,
but
could be Carl. Could be Carl. because...
Well, no, it's not Carl, is it? Because he's not doing so well.
But you don't know when
point
this
in the evening.
happens. You don't know really. I know that we have a broad sense of the chronology, but it's not... I don't know that it's clear that he wouldn't have had time.
Well,
They can write in anything. They can write in anything.
I assumed that pretty much as soon as Carl got that smug text message from Kevin, he heads straight to the...
But it was dark, wasn't it? And it's
Yeah.
dark at this point, so maybe... Anyway...
It's not Carl. I
But
think
they
it's
did
Theo.
sleep together, didn't they?
Who?
Jodie and Carl. Didn't they?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I've forgotten about that. So there is a link there.
Did she... She didn't know. I was going to say, did she sleep with Kit? She knows Kit because of Sarah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could be Kit.
So what made you not as keen on this episode as you were
Because I'm
the
not...
others?
I just don't think Jodie's going to die. And like I said earlier, if she does die, it will be so anticlimactic. It's not worth the twist.
I think I went into the episode feeling this could be one of the weaker ones for the same reasons. That it's like I don't think. Well, we knew that she wasn't going to die, but
I also don't think we've learned anything.
Well,
What did we learn? Nothing. We knew
Maybe
that
a
she
little
had a
bit from the
USB
blokes.
stick. No, but we knew she had this USB stick, and we knew she had something on there that she wasn't supposed to have, and she was using it as collateral. Then they turn up and she gives it to them.
she says it's today or this episode. She says it's something that I did.
Yeah, I
didn't
know,
she?
but I don't believe a word she says. It doesn't matter what she says.
Yeah.
What
But
is
anyway,
it? Something...
anyway, I went into this episode thinking, this Jodie storyline is not my favourite out of them all. But despite all that, I really enjoyed the seduction scene. I loved the fallout from
It
the
was very
seduction
silly.
scene, which was silly. David was, very much value for the no money that I paid to watch this episode. Oh no, I was supposed to be doing subscribe to ITVX Premium. There was enough in this episode that despite it being part of the weaker storyline, I still enjoyed it on the same level as I did for the rest.
Lots of people think that this Jodie thing, the USB stick, it could be some kind of fraud. It could be something to do with trafficking or drugs.
Yeah.
What if it is just her having an affair with Olivia's dad? Like pictures of them together that they shouldn't exist.
Maybe. But then I'd be like another case of probably in the cloud somewhere as well, isn't it? Didn't need a memory stick for them.
Wow, remember when that all got leaked on Reddit?
I at this point don't really care about what's on the memory stick.
This feels like a distraction that I didn't like. Again, Jodie has got so much potential. I just think there's a lot more to her, but I just don't feel like I wanted it to be revealed during this week to get in the way of the other stuff.
I'm still confused about how Graham and Corrie fit into this, because it's true that Olivia's dad is the owner of a haulage company, but I didn't think that was the same van that Graham used, but maybe it was. I don't know.
We would have noticed if he was driving a van that had, a logo on the side.
But maybe it was very dark, Gemma. Don't forget that Corrie. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just not as. I want to know about the box.
You gave it banging.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying the whole the general story of it, not as enthralling, but the performances, the situations,
Sexy
the fact
sweet
that it
shop,
was the
grey line.
Platts, Lily, great stuff, great stuff.
Where's Harry?
Yeah, where was Harry Platt?
Don't know.
He's going to be in for a shock when he wakes up on the 24th of May and finds out everything he's missed.
24th of May.
Oh, April,
He's
sorry.
very sleepy.
24th of April.
I think I know where he is.
Yeah?
And I think it's sad that no one knows this.
What?
I think he's dead in her box. I think Jodie's minced him up, sticking him in his box.
Oh, that reminded me of one of the favourite bits of the interview that I did with Olivia and
You're
Jules.
just boasting now, aren't you, about your interviews?
Yeah. Well, I can only
Toot your
milk it
own
for so
horn, yeah.
long. Was when Olivia said, she
here
put
we
David
go.
in a box. He's small enough.
You can...
And then she was like, "Are we allowed to keep this?" I was like, "No, it's funny."
Well,
It was. It was
I'm
a
not
good line.
involved.
It was a good line. She's a funny lady. Right, Thursday then. So this is the last episode that we've seen as of the time of recording. And today's music is, as you said earlier, Ladies' Night. So
We've
Toya,
got just under an hour before...
we can bash this one out.
of course we can. We can whack it now.
We can whack this one out in
Go
less
on.
than an hour.
You whack it, I'll
Ladies'
watch.
Night. Toya's been driving around in her van, and I think we probably weren't the only viewers when we saw Toya keep going around in the van thinking, oh, we're going to make a joke about that and about her driving and ran into a wall. Like, put Toya behind the wheel at the moment. Someone's going to make a dig about it.
Someone's going to die.
Anyway, so she's driving around the wall. Around the street.
Maybe she should have tried that the first time.
And we see Maggie, who throughout the week had been walking away from the cabin, I think, but we didn't get anywhere with that scene. We see a little bit of an extension to that where she's trying to get hold of Melanie, Mel, Will and Ollie's mum, leaves her a message saying, oh, well, I assume you've gone back to Scotland then. Perth, she was supposed to be, wasn't she?
I think that Maggie doesn't like Scotland very much.
Why is that?
She's just very dismissive of it.
They're Celtic brethren.
But though. I will say that Melanie was bigging up, like, Scotland's great, love it. But I don't know where she's from in Scotland that she thinks it's got better restaurants than Manchester.
Oh yeah, you were incensed by that, weren't you, when she said that?
I was like, where, unless you're from, surely the average small town in Scotland cannot arguably have better restaurants.
Well, she said that she's from Perth. And I've never been to Perth.
Has it got really good? I thought she was talking about Australia.
I don't know. Got no idea.
I know she. All right.
Anyway.
Right. Let me just look this up.
Yeah, you go. You do best restaurants in Perth.
I'm not saying. To be very clear, I am not saying anything bad about Scotland's restaurants because I am a fierce defender of everybody in these four kingdoms as being brilliant. Ireland as well. We love all of us.
We love fantastic. A bit of haggis, me and you, don't we, on Burns night?
I'm just saying.
I've had one deep fried Mars bar in my life. Delicious.
It was excellent.
Absolutely delicious from the Angus Steakhouse in Piccadilly Square.
Yeah, that is a shameful thing to
I'd love to have one of those again.
But I'm just saying that Manchester has got excellent restaurants.
And I learned to love Iron Brew this year. I never thought I'd like Iron Brew, but I did. Because I'm really fussy about everything. Usually, if I try, if I haven't tried it by the time I was like 20 years old, I'm not going to like it. But
let me look this up.
Try it if you're dismissive of it. It's quite nice.
Okay. I just googled it and it says Jade Garden is amazing for Chinese, and Mei Ping for superb Thai food if that's their thing.
And Manchester.
I'm sure there's a couple.
One or two. Black Lock, obviously, Jen was one of the favourites.
You can't use that as something for Manchester.
Okay, what about that place we got those nice milkshakes from? What's it called?
Bird of Prey.
Bird of Prey. Nice. Annie's. Closed.
Anyway. Couldn't handle it.
Anyway, the cafe at the Coronation Street Experience. Nice food and delightful staff. Anyway, so Toya, she's been pulling around the corner in this van all week, and finally on Thursday we get to reveal what's in it. And this was still while Ladies' Night was all playing. And then over the side, Leanne and Eva are in there, manhandling Megan out the back of it. Another great moment in the press day, wasn't it? Because we'd been waiting. We'd seen all these clips and going, what have they got in there? And I was not at all expecting there to have a person in there, to have Megan in there. It was brilliant. And I really loved all of these scenes in the flat. I loved them, because it was awesome seeing the Battersby sisters being their fierce fighting selves again. That's what I want. United, mostly, although Toya does have a bit of a problem with something Leanne says. And I also loved how completely nonplussed and kind of a little bit smarmy and smug herself Megan was being throughout the whole thing. She had no fear.
They couldn't break her, could they?
No. She was irritating them by how... What on earth are you going to do?
Well, she was right, though. What did they have on her?
Well,
their idea was, we're going to intimidate you.
Well, Eva had been told by Megan, yeah, I slept with Will, what are you going to do about it? And I think Eva just kind of hoped that she might say it again for an audience. I don't know. But they were being proper hard, weren't they? And I think because they're that much older than Megan as well, maybe they hoped that she'd be intimidated by their mature wisdom.
That's not how it works.
Respect your elders, Megan. Don't smirk at them.
I do give props to...
Beth Nixon.
Beth Nixon's incredible, but I'm talking about Eva.
Catherine Tilsley.
Catherine Tilsley is so actually physically imposing compared to the other three, isn't she? She's
taller, yeah.
She's taller, and she's just big. She's bigger. She's not. I'm not saying she's chunky, for God's sake. I'm saying she just looks like. Actually, I don't think you could take her in a fight. She's taller than you think she is.
Yeah, she was towering down over.
She was
over Megan. Leanne, though, she had Eva's fierceness that she was putting on. It felt kind of like I'm gonna say these fierce words and I'm gonna be naturally fierce. But Leanne, we know that she's the feistier and the scrappier of all three of them, and that was she's had years of cat fights on the street.
Leanne's also
hasn't so much.
Crazy, and she was like, I'll cut your eyelids out.
Yeah. Eva not so much.
Like, why would you ever think I'd do that? But I will.
But I mean, Eva wasn't putting it on. She really, really is mad at Megan because even though Will is not her biological son, Eva was still very rightly.
Well, she's like, I'm gonna get a fortune out of this kid when he becomes a famous runner, and now you've ruined it.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just kind of rearranging some plugs.
Well, while you're doing that, can I just say that Perth was named Scotland's food town in 2018.
Oh, well, there you go.
So I take it back. Well done.
My phone's plugged in.
But I also don't think that Ollie could get a job there then. It's too good for him.
Anyway, so long and short of it, I enjoyed that. I am still going to say, though, writers, just be careful what you're doing with Toya.
I don't like Toya's lines.
Toya's
lines over the past few months, actually, just really pigeonholing her to be this
bit of a sap.
Absolute dorky moron who is so concerned with the right thing to do and always interjecting with some kind of really tiresome.
Well, in this episode, it's like, oh, but we're only talking, and yeah, she's turning into a drag. On its own,
don't like that.
It wouldn't be so bad, but it feels like they've tipped over too much of the proportion of Toya's lines, her being a bit of a square.
Yeah.
And I think in reality, she would also be just as fired up as the other two about this.
I think
what she's done to their family member, what she's done to Sam as well.
Well, I mean, if you're going to lean into...
She wouldn't be passing her no tissue, my Toya, I know.
If you're going to lean into the whole... She's a big square, she's educated, she's too super woke and whatever.
Well, she's not even that well educated, is she?
Well, she's had a professional career.
Yeah.
Which is better than... both Leanne and Eva just shagging their way into working at the local hospitality business.
Yeah.
This is how they both got there.
Did she get A-levels, Toya? I don't even remember.
It doesn't matter.
Maybe.
It doesn't matter. But, I can't remember what I was saying now. Oh, I think that you could have used that as a way for Toya, if you wanted to make fun of Toya for being a bit square, she could have been like, I can't believe you're not taking your safeguarding, there was, instead of making her seem like an absolutely oblivious...
I just didn't think they needed any of it. I think they should have had her being just as fierce as Leanne. And I get that, you had your three different versions of the angry sister, but
it would have been funnier if
Toya
had used her wits to defeat Megan instead of trying to oppose the two sisters. But it feels as though they're setting up conflict between the three of them, because of how this ends with her having this conversation with Shona and moaning about the sisters.
Yeah.
And then undermining Sam.
As it turned out in this situation, as a certain president might say, Megan had all the cards, didn't she? And they just didn't have enough on her. But I still enjoyed it. I still loved it.
She's a bigly pedo, as you might call her.
So anyway, Eva's telling her, right, you need to text Will right now, tell him you never loved him. You need to text Sam and apologise to him for being a bitch. Either that wouldn't have worked. Sam's phone's been in the bin for the past 2 months. Nobody noticed this yet. That's the missing link in this. What's going on with Sam's phone? Anyway, and then you need to make a full confession to the police. And
Megan's like, no.
It's like, no. Don't think so. She tries to escape, doesn't she? And Leanne backs her out of the corridor, rolls up her sleeves. It was the best. I love this. This is peak Leanne. I love it.
I really wish that Toya got to be more menacing.
I mean,
she's the only one who hit her.
She punched her.
And that
was a punch the air moment for me. But
do you know what it reminded me of? That bit where Scar and Mufasa are fighting. And one of them whacks the other one with his paw.
Oh, yeah.
Remind me
and
of that.
digs the claws in. What does he say? Long live the king.
No, it was when Mufasa bats Scar.
Yeah, I know.
Triumphantly. Like with a big,
Yeah, but then Mufasa doesn't go, oh no, I'm so sorry. Here, have a piece of kitchen roll to mop your bloodied nose.
No, he just gets run over by wildebeests. And that is a spoiler for The Lion King.
That's going to happen to Toya as well, I'm afraid to say. Anyway, Toya's trying to be very diplomatic about it and saying, look, for your own recovery, you've got to admit that you've done wrong. And Megan just finds this hilarious and saying, oh, she actually does say you're holding all the cards. I thought that I made that up. She says you don't have anything. What were you saying?
I was just saying if they get a hold of the volume wall again, maybe they can get some wildebeest done.
Okay, maybe. So, cut back to Maggie, who goes to the pub, and she's not pleased to discover that Mel is in the back room with Will.
Yeah,
she thought she was up in Scotland
to go and have some delicious seafood and award-winning Scottish produce.
Yes, and instead she goes into the back room, gets right slap bang into an argument with her. Ben has to come through to the back and eject her from the room. And then she immediately scuttles to the door and has a little listen in through the door.
I love her.
I loved that, but she didn't really hear anything juicy, did she? Because before long, Will's marched out there and Maggie's nearly stumbled over on flat on her face, and then she goes, oh, will you have some crisps and pop, Will? I don't know, I didn't, that was a bit of a...
Tell you what, in Perth...
So end to that scene for me.
In Perth, that would be sparkling elderflower cordial and some handcrafted crisp potatoes with flaky sea salt.
Yeah, the Weatherfield posh crisps just
doesn't cut it, does it?
However much those Alahans love them.
Ollie just opens a packet of the poshest crisps he can get his hands on and cries thinking about what it's like in Perth.
Yeah. Anyway, so back to Megan, and she's still goading the sisters, the Battersbys. I still refer to them as Battersbys when
it's fine.
They're not related really particularly, but anyway. She starts saying, oh, I was actually really quite scared of being in Toya's van. I thought you were going to drive me into the wall. You know, like your husband. The way she delivered that line, everything that Beth Nixon did in these series of scenes was just superb. She is a brilliant actress, and every time she does that, I just get that little bit sad, a bit like I do when Debbie's having a great moment, because I think, oh, she's going to be gone at some point. We're only going to be enjoying Megan on screen for a very limited time now, aren't we?
I really enjoyed all of their performances.
Oh yeah, they were all fantastic.
Even though I didn't like Toya's lines particularly, I think that George Taylor obviously did a fantastic job of delivering them very well.
Yes. Anyway, she reveals that Leanne has told her about the whole Imran thing, and Toya is quite rightly miffed at her sister
rattled by
for revealing this pretty deep dark secret that could get her into a terrible amount of hot water.
Now Megan knows. Well, no, by the end of the episode, Megan actually knows 2 characters on the street are murderers that she didn't know before. Well, she reveals that she knows.
Who's the other one?
Maggie.
Oh yes, she does by the end of it, doesn't she? She has got all the cards this week. How long can she last? Like, why don't they kill her off?
She's even got the card that tells you who made the cards themselves. She's just kept it for no reason.
Anyway, Toya's there having a go at Leanne, whilst at the same time, Megan's dialogue is still go, niggle, 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 push, 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 until Toya snaps, whacks around the face. Brilliant. Well done, girl. Good.
Well, Toya's
job.
Completely ashamed, but Eva uses this moment to stare Megan down.
This week has been a week of desperate good characters just getting into their violent selves, aren't they? First you had George with a mortar. No, he just used his fist,
I didn't actually check.
Yeah, I thought you said it. You gave me the impression that you knew that was the mortar.
I said it was a pestle, clearly.
No, you said it was the mortar. Anyway, so we had George doing it. We had our Toya doing it.
The mortar is the bowl.
We had Ronnie, that's what you said. We had Ronnie dropping the car on it. You know, desperate times call for desperate measures this week. Anyway, Toya's very, very guilty of this. But Eva's like, well, I'm going to hunt you down for what you did. And I'm going to ruin your life. And then Megan's like, you already did, bitch. I lost my baby.
I love that she got to say bitch.
I know. You get every time it's not, it's once every 3-4 months maybe, they might utter the B word on Coronation Street, and it is still a little bit like...
I like it.
A little bit... Oh, they said
It's a
something
great
naughty
word.
there on Coronation Street.
But to be fair, in order to avoid, accusations of misogyny, you should call a man a bitch too.
Yeah, you didn't get that very much.
You have to be equal opportunities.
Anyway, she says, you're a lipstick lynch mob, swans off, saying, look, I've got a duty of care for kids. That's that.
Well, no, she before she does that, she gives this very tragic speech about how sad she is about losing her baby. Yes, and Toya looks devastated about this because she also remembers her story that she had about that. And she's like, by the time she goes, Megan is just crying about how they've ruined her life, and she leaves them all kind of completely helpless to stop her. Even though,
as they kind of rightly point out later, she did have a termination, and that baby was not lost.
No, hang on a minute. She can definitely blame them in her mind by saying,
suppose so. If you hadn't
interfered, I could have had this baby. I could have run off. I don't care whether Will knows or not, but this baby was possibly my only chance to be a mother, and you made it impossible for me to keep it.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair play.
I mean, in her, she's still blaming the miscarriage and saying that it was Maggie, but Maggie was also dispatched because of the, collaborative chaos that they all created over finding out what she'd done.
Yeah. So this is...
She's also the eternal victim. Like, all these people just feel sorry for themselves, even though they're the sort of the reason that they're even in trouble in the first place.
So she then goes out onto the street, and this is when we cut back to the scene from Monday's episode where she's trying to get a bit of help from Kit. He says, no, bugger off, I'm on Monday's episode with Todd and Theo. And then she sees Daniel at the end of the street, and that's where they cut it on Monday. I'd kind of forgotten about that until Thursday came round, that Daniel would be there. I didn't even know Daniel was really going to be in this week. So what happened next was definitely up there with my scenes of the week, which was Megan goes into number one. Daniel kind of lets her in, despite their differences. He can see that she's a bloodied maiden in distress, and who is he to he's a knight in shining armour, despite everything she's been up to. So he takes him in. She's spoken to the police, hasn't she? And
they
come
reporting
around
it.
Later.
Yeah, and then she's also trying to get Kit in trouble.
Yeah. And she starts taking selfies, doesn't she?
Well, she's trying to get evidence
of her bloodied nose. Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is really funny because he's clearly disgusted by this, because she's preening as she's having him take the photos of her bloodied nose. So she's like making sure her hair looks good while she's getting him to take this photo, and he's like, "No, I'm not helping you stitch anyone up."
She passes him the phone and says, "Can you take some?" And I wondered at that point whether he'd steal her phone, and then there'd be messages. He looks like he's
about to delete the pictures that she's already taken.
Well, I thought that he would find some stone cold evidence of her affair with Will on that phone, and that would be the twist.
Good,
I was expecting that to happen, but what we actually got was a very heated argument, and Daniel's Mr. Hyde side comes out, which is very canonly in there for his character. He can go proper off on one, can't he? He's
a self-righteous.
But it wasn't just that. It was the fact that he pushes her against the door. He's like poking her in the head and saying, "You're sick in the head." You're a
predator.
Yeah. Daniel can get super riled up and violent, and he can lose control, can't he?
Yeah,
he seems to be
I've been saying
meek,
this for
mannered
years.
school teacher.
No.
But he's got a temper, that
I've been saying this for ages.
And I love it when he does this.
He's got no self-awareness either. He doesn't see it in himself at all. But every single time he has an enemy, he almost always ends up pushing him down the stairs.
Yeah, well, it's only good for Megan that they're at the bottom of the stairs there,
exactly.
Isn't it? But we both of us, when we saw that moment, we turned to each other and were like, "Oh, it's like Ken and Deirdre."
Yeah, because they're in the hallway of
number
one. And this was a famous scene when Ken confronts Deirdre over her affair with Mike. And then, how many years later, 40 years later.
Yeah, 43 years ago that happened.
He is a different door, but Daniel's backed another woman up against a door, and who knows what would happen. Because he also, just like Ken did, has this very moral outrage behind it. Like, he thinks, you've done something wrong, so I am fully entitled to be violent towards you.
You're exactly right. He's like, well, obviously I couldn't do anything wrong, so any vigilante justice that I choose to enact on you is for the good of Weatherfield.
Well, yeah, because he's like, you're a predator, you're sick in the head. And just as he's who knows what, genuinely, who knows what Daniel would have done.
Literally, I know, he could have done, couldn't he?
He could have done anything.
Well, yeah, Ken comes in. And
Ken
he doesn't say, no, that's the wrong door. This is the woman pushing door.
Come
Daniel,
here, Daniel.
I've not taught you anything, son. And he thinks when he sees Megan that Daniel's maybe done that to him, and Megan uses and Megan uses that as a chance to scarp her.
Yes, she takes advantage of the confusion.
Yeah, and from that moment, I'm waiting for the interviews with Rob Millard years down the line, saying his own anecdotes about that, because whenever William Roach gets interviewed, he always manages to sneak in his memories of pushing Anne Kirkbride up against the door and how she didn't really realise that he was going to do it quite so harshly.
Beth Nixon is like, yeah, he just surprised me.
Can you imagine? I wonder if William Roach could coached Rob on this before the scene. Just before you go on set,
don't tell her you're not going to do it, and then do it.
Yeah. Just what you need to do exactly is take her by surprise, and if she struggles, just keep her there for 5 seconds or so, and then let her go. I've made a career out of interviews where I talk about this. You'll thank me for it later.
But maybe everyone's too woke now.
I don't know.
Anyway, we also missed out the bit where the sisters all leave the flat after having confronted Megan, and they're mad because Toya's ruined it by hitting her in the face. And Toya's like, hang on a minute, you went and blabbed my secrets. This is my private life. I've never felt so vulnerable. Did you tell her about my baby as well? And then she huffs off, and then she runs into Shona and they have a conversation.
Yes, they have a conversation later. Thank you, I did skip that earlier, you're right. I just loved that Ken was in the episode. You shouldn't ever be surprised when Ken Barlow turns up in Coronation Street, but it's a rare thing these days, isn't it?
He came in.
Oh, it's Ken.
Like that sketch of, what's his name from, I've forgotten the actor. He walks in with pizza and everything's on fire.
Oh, yeah. No, does anyone else go, ooh, it's Ken, when he arrives? You just don't expect it, do you?
You never expect Ken Barlow.
All is well when Ken Barlow is in a scene.
Well, no, well, he takes...
But he made
Daniel
the scene
to task.
Good. Yeah, he did.
But
first of all, Maggie is under the smoking shelter with Mel. So they've decided that they're going to talk out their differences.
You notice that nobody smokes there anymore. They all just have private conversations.
So yeah, this is the gossip shelter.
Yeah.
The easily overheard gossip shelter.
Like, you might think that this shelter's protecting you from people hearing, but actually it's amplification. We've actually made it so that acoustically, if you stand here, anyone can hear your conversation within a 5-metre radius.
Yeah. So this was a scene that we saw at the press day, but I'd forgotten that Megan then comes and speaks with Maggie afterwards. So when we were watching it, and Maggie they basically have a conversation where Mel reveals that she knows that Maggie pushed Alan down the stairs, or at least that's the story that Finley's telling her.
She says, I know, Finley told me you killed your husband. I want to take Will and Ollie to Scotland with me, and you're not going to put up a fuss. Otherwise, I'll tell Ben.
Yeah. We were watching this, and I said, Megan's just next door. She's going to overhear this, because I had totally forgotten that this bit happened.
But I don't understand, how old is Ollie?
Old enough that he shouldn't be living in a pub with his parents.
Well, old enough that his parents should be arguing over who gets custody of him.
Yeah, I know.
He's a grown man.
Yeah.
If he wants to go to Perth and be part of the exciting food scene of 2018, then he should go.
Exactly. Anyway, that's basically what happens there. Mel leaves with, she's definitely won that one, hasn't she? She's played her hand there, and Maggie is left somewhat shaken.
Well, she's trying to go, oh no, he's forgot, he's wrong, he's not right.
He's just a child.
He's so stupid. Children are thick.
Yeah. And
Megan comes out and goes, yeah, they are, aren't they?
Yeah. Maggie starts to have a bit of a palpitation of attack, doesn't she? Or panic attack, or I don't know what it was.
She's having an attack of the vapours.
She's like, oh my gosh, somebody knows that I killed my husband, or did I? Or at least... See, we still don't know, because she's obviously not talked about it.
She did it.
Do you think that she thinks she did it?
Yeah, because why would you worry?
You would worry that somebody might say, I've got a witness that said she did it. Maybe she thinks she's going to be wrongfully imprisoned.
You wouldn't worry about it unless
I'm such a Maggie sympathiser, I can't help it.
You wouldn't worry unless you know you did it.
To be honest, how much sway would Finley's evidence actually have?
It wouldn't work.
I saw this longer than that, 40 years ago. I've just kept quiet until then. Maggie's not going to get sent down for
I don't
that,
know
is
if
she?
it's that so much as telling Ben. if Ben believes them, that's the end of her relationship with both her sons.
Yeah,
and she goes on about how important her family is.
Well, the whole family.
And do you think that Ollie and Will wouldn't find it charming and funny story about Nan, would they?
So
remember when Nan pushed Grandad down the stairs?
So I mean, Maggie, who has been revealed to already have a bit of a temper to her, already had quite strong motive for bumping off Megan even before this episode. Mm-hmm. This little turn of events here has meant that if I didn't know better, because all along I've been saying that Maggie kills Megan, haven't I? That's been my theory right since this flash forward, and I'm not particularly happy that I was proven false, but at least I stuck to my guns.
Yeah, Maggie kills Megan and frames the Battersby sisters with the help of Sam, who's going through a psychotic episode and hallucinating and getting confused about what he's seen and what he hasn't seen.
Yeah, I mean, we still don't know much about what happens between Maggie and Megan on Friday, so you never know. But anyway, out of all the people that have got a motivation to kill somebody among all the stories at the moment, Maggie's is probably the strongest, because she could lose everything if Megan blabs. And I don't know whether there's many other people that could say that with all our other potential killers out here, do you think?
Some of them are revenge, aren't they? Some of them are...
Yeah, some of them are good old-fashioned revenge, but this is like, I need to save my own skin.
I need to stop you, yeah.
Yeah, you can't do this. Anyway, so Megan pops round the corner, and fair play to her, she does help Maggie with a little panic attack, but yeah, it's not long before she's... kind of grinning at Maggie and revealing that she's recorded this conversation on her phone and saying, "Oh, you're a murderer."
And Maggie says, "Sorry, it sounds like it's been recorded underwater. I can't hear it."
What is the sound quality on that
microphone
recording?
That Megan used, we need to get a hold of.
So Maggie is terrified with this, and now two people know about what happened there.
She's not deleting the recording. She calls her a hypocrite and a murderer. Yeah. And then before Maggie can do anything, Ben's like going, "Maggie!" or "Ma, come."
I can't remember what he wanted. Was it something to do with whiskey and trying to school Chesney on
Scottish, Irish whiskey? I don't know.
We also had that lovely scene with Ken and Daniel in number 1 at the table, didn't they? Where Ken has to say, "Sorry, I just thought that you maybe were a woman beater."
Well, he's like, Daniel's like, "Dad, I can't believe you'd ever accuse me of being a woman beater," and Ken's like, "Look. Everyone's smacked a woman around on this show. Sometimes they have it coming. You know, I've punched and slapped loads of women on this. I'd assume he has.
I don't think many. To be
I've
fair.
slapped a fair few of them.
He's definitely thrown a few punches. Maybe he's waving his arms around, and if people get in his way, he doesn't care.
Listen,
it's their own fault.
Daniel, in the show once, we said that Stan hit Hilda as a joke.
Yes, exactly.
I'm not surprised
Daniel
slapped her in the
says,
face.
"I am not a woman beater. I'm a stair pusher. Remember, Dad.
Yes.
Remember that story."
Yeah, I'm not violent.
Yeah. Anyway, Ken says, "Look, well, good people would believe a woman in this situation." And Daniel's not that woman. Toya should have punched her harder. She's a cancer. She wants cutting out. I loved the bile that Daniel was spewing about horrible Megan. Just, I don't know what he's madder about. The fact that she's a paedophile, or the fact that she was stringing him along for all those months, and he thought that he had a good thing going with her there, but she was just taking him for a ride.
Yeah.
Anyway, back in the bar, you got Eva.
I love that Me Too came to Weatherfield so much that even Ken Barlow paid attention. Yeah, so you've got to believe the woman.
He's got nothing else going on in his life at the moment, has he? Anyway, Eva and Leanne come into the pub, soon followed by 2 police officers who are looking for them and Toya. She arrests the pair of them, and off they pop to the police station because, they haven't really got a leg to stand on here, have they?
They kidnapped somebody, didn't they?
They kidnapped somebody in a van, intimidated them, and then punched them.
I do think it's a bit cheating when Corrie characters do something dramatic and the person goes to the police. Because I always think they're a bit of a party pooper.
I know. It's like when it's a soap.
It's like when John Stape got Kevin arrested and put in prison.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you can't do that. This is what you do in a soap. You're supposed to be able to smack and punch people.
Yeah, Kevin was probably caught really off guard when he got thrown into prison for punching John Stape because
it's like what the hell? well, they have an award. It's called Ecky Thump.
Yeah. Tell you what, nominations for the Ecky Thump Award this week. You could fill the whole category from just Murder Week.
We definitely had discussions about Ecky Thump has got to be not a traumatically sad fight. It can't be
like what?
Well, you know, domestic violence isn't part of the category.
Oh no, but Toya punching Megan could be, and George punching Theo could be.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
It's funny.
Yeah, funny fights are all good for the Ecky Thump Award. See more of that later this year. Anyway, so Toya's with Shona in the bistro at the moment, and they're talking about sisters now. They can be difficult because they've both got that in common this week. But then Sam walks in, and that was another, like when Ken walked in this episode, it was like, oh, there's Ken. Today it says, oh, I didn't know Sam was going to be in it this week, even though we had been theorising that the whole hallucinations, can't say the word, hallucinations were possibly going to play into the murder and Sam thinking he saw something that he didn't. The fact that we hadn't seen Sam for a few weeks had made me consider that maybe he's not going to be involved at all. But here he is. He's got one scene on Thursdays, and he's just seen... because he's been at the kebab shop, because, you know, Sammy loves a cheeky kebab, doesn't he?
You know what I love about this? Is that, so Sam goes, I was in the kebab shop and I saw you three manhandling Megan.
Miss Walsh, thank you.
Out of the van, and she, you know, she looked terrible and you were being violent. You took her
Bundled her into Leanne's flat.
And she's like, she didn't say, but I probably would have. Who else was in the kebab shop? I assume you weren't working there. So somebody else was behind the... Who's behind the...
Oh, yeah. Did anybody else see that?
Whoever it was that was behind the counter had a much better view than Sam should have had.
Mm.
So who was it? Was it Chesney going, I ain't getting involved in this?
No, Chesney was at the pub.
Well, who was there? Who was serving there? Is Dev like, look, the scaffolding's costing a fortune. I'm not... I can't be in another story. I've just had Mal.
Hopefully it's going to be one of these silent extras that was working there.
But do you know what I mean? The fact that he was in the kebab shop, and also the hilarious fact that the three of them never bothered to consider the fact that they were being very visible with
I know, they weren't trying to hide it, were they?
Yeah, it's like, let's have four very attractive, beautiful blonde women having a fight in the middle of the day, in the middle of the street, outside of a kebab shop and a bus stop, and a cafe and a flower shop by a pub. That will be fine. No one will see us. Oh no, Sam did. We'll just say he was hallucinating.
Yeah, which is basically what Toya does, doesn't she? She's like, no, you're making it up, Sam. Oh, you're saying things again.
She just came round to pick up some clothes. You know, us women, we're passionate about clothes. You probably just mistook a bit of friendly rivalry about who's going to get the miniskirt for a fight. She wasn't.
To be fair to her, Toya doesn't know that Sam's having these visions, does she? So she just kind of says, no, you missaw it. But Sam takes that quite harshly, doesn't he? And has a bit of a cry and starts blaming himself, and Toy's like, sorry, I was only saying that you missaw it. But yeah, he's thinking, I am really losing my mind here.
Well, she just, you just got the wrong end of the stick. Nothing nefarious was happening. Yeah. And he goes, I always get everything wrong. And then he cries. Do you know what I'm concerned about? The maths GCSE is looking less and less likely.
I know. That's coming up soon as well.
I know. He hasn't got long. He's supposed to be revising, not looking in the kebab shop for crimes.
I was driving to school today, and there was a billboard from Southampton City Council that said, good luck in your GCSEs and A-levels from Southampton City Council. It's like, you got this.
Stop making us look bad with your results.
Yeah, exactly. I think they were. Come on, kids.
Pay attention.
Southampton needs to...
Stop reading this sign and read your revision books.
Anyway, last couple of scenes. So we've got Jodie outside the flat. She's talking to someone on the phone. This is outside. No, it's not Jodie. Megan. No. What was I talking about? It's nighttime. Sorry, everybody. This is nighttime. Jodie's down in the precinct, isn't she? When she says, who are you? What are you doing here? What do you want? But then up on the balcony, it's Megan talking to someone on the phone, and you said it was the landlord.
She said she was going out to meet a landlord, and now she's talking to somebody called Charlie.
She's left her jumper
in
a flat,
who has her graduation jumper, which you will not get without your maths GCSE.
Yes.
And I assume that Charlie is a landlord, but maybe it's a boyfriend or another child that she's grooming, or It could be a girl or a boy. We don't know. Charlie is a gender-neutral name, as we know.
It is. And anyway, she turns the corner and runs into Maggie, and I thought this scene was really nicely shot. We got a nice, a few views over Maggie's shoulder, which showed into wider weather fields, which, is actually Trafford Park, isn't it? But it looked quite sprawling, and you don't often get many high-up views of the city, because you can't really do it so much on Coronation Street because, oh look, there's the Imperial War Museum. So this was a nice little look into outside of the set, if you like. And
very often build Imperial War museums just in the suburbs in this country.
No, Maggie says, I want you to delete that recording, and Megan says, well, get your feral family off of my back first. And Maggie also points out that she's figured out by this point that Megan must have had a termination, because no way did you fall hard enough to have an honest miscarriage, she says. And Megan's like, I haven't got time for this. Goes past her to the stairwell. Maggie turns around and follows her, closes the door behind her. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is as far as we have got today. But that was a great end to the episode. And if I didn't know kind of what was going to be happening there on Friday, I'll be thinking that is a great, great cliffhanger that leads us into our final day of Murder Week. So,
who dies?
Theo dies. Theo dies. We know Theo dies. I hope nobody's kind of started listening to this thinking, oh, they're only talking about the first 4 days, and that's all I've watched. But I assume not.
You'd have to be a bit confused to listen to a week of a show and not expect people to talk about the final day of it.
I have loved this, and maybe it doesn't stand up to some of Corrie's big weeks. Probably partly because of the characters that are involved just not being the big characters. And to be honest, there haven't been huge stunts, nothing's been on fire, nothing's been crashed, all of that sort of stuff. But the intertwining stories, the little hints about other days, the single thread episodes, I think that the balance of humour and drama has been very, very good. The whole flash forward element that you kind of piece together, oh, that's why Megan had a bloody nose. That thing, Jodie with the bruise, right? What was the last thing we saw Jodie? It was coming out into the precinct, wasn't it?
Yes. So someone's going to smack her in the face.
If she had a bruise, I know that the closed captions or the audio description said she had a bruise. So we've seen that
nobody's hit her yet.
The shots that we saw on the flash forward. So there was Carl looking up at the fireworks, and we saw that on Tuesday's episode when he's outside because he takes a chance to have a look at the fireworks when he's just about to go into Kevin's car, doesn't he? And they look. Actually, we said that the fireworks didn't look too bad when we were watching it, did they?
They did. They didn't look bad at all.
Still don't use them, Corrie, but they didn't look as bad as the actual wedding episode ones. So we've seen that. That was from the flash forward. Theo coming out of the flat all bloodied up. I assume that that's happened by this point because it's dark now.
Theo's bloody because of George.
Megan come bloodied because of Toya. But she. That was at night as well, wasn't it?
Yes.
But Megan coming out of the flat after being beaten up by Toya was in the day.
Yes.
You always said that you're not sure whether those flash forward scenes were perfect representations of what happened. So unless Megan makes her way back to the street again in the dark.
Yeah, I saw somebody say, so we all know the body's found at the back of their flat. And so I saw some people online going, well, it's clearly Theo because he's the only one who's on the street when the body's found. But that's not true because we saw in the flash forwards, Corrie proposed the concept that everybody manages to assemble on the street by the time the fireworks go off.
We don't know. I mean, this is probably very boring for people listening at the moment because you've seen Friday's episode. But even that scene with Maggie standing outside the Rovers looking very triumphant about something. Or is that her plotting to go and visit Megan and they just didn't show her? I don't know.
Well, yeah, doesn't it give it away then? Because if one of Megan and Maggie had been pushed down the stairs, they can't have been pushed down the stairs and then go back to the street. That's why I don't think that you can count that as anything
non-canon,
because it's like I said, it's almost like they built a trailer into the show.
I don't like that. I'd rather it had been canon.
I wonder if somebody could do. Well, I'm not doing this. I wonder if somebody could do a timeline of the location, like confirmed locations and time points for everybody's movements during that.
Yes, that's our challenge to you, listeners. Do that.
I don't believe everybody is in the exact place that Coronation Street thinks they should be. That's all I'm going to say.
What I would also really quite like to see is a chronologically ordered Thursday the 23rd of April. Maybe the wedding, but not so fussed about seeing that again. I want to know...
Somebody edit it, please.
Yeah, somebody edit together the scenes in order.
They get copyright.
Corrie can do it.
Strike. I just really hope that they reveal that the person who died was Theo, because if they haven't...
We're going to have to re-record the last 3 hours of this podcast. So should we pause it now?
Yeah, we've got to have some soup and it's not quite ready
We've got
yet.
half an hour until Corrie's on. We're going to have some soup. We'll be back in a little bit to tell you what we thought of tonight's episode. I hope it's a good one. See you on the other side, everybody. Well, thank goodness for that. It is Theo when nobody else is dead. We've not had to re-record the whole of the last 3 hours of the podcast.
Felt touch and go to me.
I know. I was like, definitely in the final 5 minutes, I was thinking, are they actually going to kill other people off? Or have they played a trick on us? So they're going to be multiple victims. I mean, it still could possibly happen, couldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they invite us to the press days, but they don't count us as press. So we don't get previews and we don't get some of the press releases. So it's very possible that everybody went to the press day and got shown this video with Theo dying at the end, and then they went, oh yeah, by the way, here's an email for next week to let you know that actually also they all die.
It's very quite possible. But we now know no more than anybody else. In fact, you guys, some of you probably know a lot more than us because you probably looked at the spoilers for next week, which we definitely haven't. Still not looked at the pictures that they sent that we talked about last week. But anyway, yeah, it is definitely Theo. Other people could be dead. I'm sure we'll get to talking about that in a minute. We did kind of touch on earlier, what's your reaction to the fact that it is Theo? And how did you feel when the reveal was, Param, it's him?
Oh no.
I'm sorry, I just left a pause there so that you could jump in and say what you thought. But if you're not sure, then I can say what I want. I can ask myself. Obviously, I went there I'd been saying ever since the flash forward happened, it's going to be Megan. I had my theory. I thought that Maggie was going to bump off Megan. I thought that she was going to pin the blame on someone else. As we were watching the confrontation with Megan and the Battersby sisters, it's like, yeah, this is working exactly as I thought it would. So when we saw at the very end that Theo was the body, there was a bit of a pang of disappointment that my theory wasn't right, because I really thought I was onto something there. But it wasn't just that. Like we'd said in some of the prediction podcasts, probably, I don't know. If I didn't say it, I thought it, and that counts. I definitely thought it. It is a bit of a, kill off the bad guy, kill off the abuser. I definitely thought that... It's like with Jeff. I didn't want Jeff to be killed necessarily. I love Jeff's death, falling off the roof, getting pecked by the chickens, but so often they kill off the big bads when really the satisfying thing to do would be to have them face justice, like we got for Josh. I mean, he got his name check this week, didn't he? He was sent to prison, and then did he go blind for a bit, I think, and he got beaten up in prison. I don't know, but yeah, little bit of disappointment that it was Theo for that reason, but I think I just gotta get over it now, and I think I have, because we've known it's been him for 3 weeks, and I think I have got over it, and it's just, that's the story they wanted to tell, and that's the sensationalist way they wanted to go with it. And like you said, I mean, there still could be other victims as well. What do you think?
I didn't want it to be Jodie or Maggie, because Jodie, I don't think, feels worthy enough as a victim, and no. Maggie is too precious and wonderful to lose. Yeah,
Maggie was the one that I went in there going, God, I hope it's not her. It just can't be her. And you're right, Jodie, so what?
I feel like I'd rather Carl lived, but I don't know if he will now. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely at this moment thinking it could be, there could be more people.
Because but lots of people have hospital deaths on Corrie. Like, you think they're dead, then they're alive, then they go to hospital, and then somebody kills them.
Or they just kind of end up expiring of natural causes, like Tina. She died, didn't she, after being taken to hospital? But then you had the likes of Sunita, who got smothered by Carl, and Charlotte Hoyle, of course, got the life support switched off.
Yeah, so he could still die anyway. I really wanted Megan to die, but then it seems like she will get her comeuppance. The thing is, there are two people that haven't done anything recently. Jodie and Maggie. Now, we know Maggie killed Alan, or she thinks she did. And we know that Jodie has done something and we're not sure what it is. They're not going to go to prison.
Yeah,
Carl hasn't done anything illegal that anyone's going to dob him in for, because
not recently, no.
Only Debbie really knows, and everyone's protecting.
Flooded a hotel. There must be a law about that
Everybody's protecting Debbie, so they're not going to let him go to prison, and it's only that group of people that knows what he's done, right? Mm. So you're left then with two possible murder victims who feel the strongest, but also two that could go to prison, and you don't really want both Theo and Megan having a trial at the same time. So logically thinking about it, it was always going to be one of them dies and one of them goes to prison, just because of the way narratives work. And I'm not sure I'm not sure which one is better, but I do think that there's a lot more. I feel like a lot more is going to come out of a court case with Megan, considering that Will still doesn't think anything when, he still thinks he's in a relationship with her, thinks they love each other.
Yeah.
What Kit said that they found some evidence about Megan, or something's come to light.
Oh yes, I forgot that.
So the trial is going to hinge around some new piece of evidence that we don't know exists yet, which makes me think that we've got more scenes ahead of us of Will coming to terms with what's actually happened to him. Also, Trisha and Tim surely are going to come into play around
she's got to be
this.
back on a holiday
So
by now.
So it makes more sense that Megan gets the trial and Theo gets killed, because Theo's trial, not sure what we'd see of it, not sure how those trials work. Yeah, I agree with anyone who thinks that it's a sort of a missed opportunity, or it feels wrong. I can see if you've been through this yourself, or wanting him to go to justice properly. But
we said earlier that next week's episode, it says something about Todd's angry that Theo doesn't face justice. I don't think that's a spoiler particularly.
I
Sorry
think
if it is, but
that both the way that both of these are shaking out, Megan goes to trial. I guess she goes to trial because of what Kit said, and Theo dying shakes out in the way that brings the most drama, because if Todd is gonna wrestle with the fact that he's not actually going to get to see Theo be brought to justice, that is a more interesting story. If you're left at the end of an abusive relationship with no closure, where do you go? What do you do? Are you still haunted by the fact you're not really sure what happened? Because Todd still blames himself for a lot of things that happened. How do you get closure from a situation like that? You don't get justice, you can't move on. Yeah, but one of the people that you love may very well be responsible for killing him. And I think that is way more juicy and dramatic than...
Is that something that I want to seeing Todd wrestling with not being able to get closure? I don't know whether I want to see him having more sad times after all this story is said and done.
I'm not talking about whether you want to see that. I'm talking about if I'm a story producer and I'm trying to work out, or storyline, or having a conference or whatever, and I'm trying to work out how do we end this, who dies, who lives, and you're plotting out what the possibilities. It feels to me like you could argue what I just said and say that Megan should go to trial and Theo should die.
Yeah, well, it'd be interesting.
But you can make a pretty good argument the other way, I'm sure.
It'd be interesting to see what, Kate Brooks or any of the writers say about their decision. I don't think, there was, at the press day that we went to, though, Kate Brooks was interviewed for the press, and I don't think that one's come out yet. So there's going to be something that she says that may well cover that. But yeah, it makes sense what you're saying. It just all along felt like that one was the most traditional thing to do, and maybe I'm just backpedaling because I'd said it was Megan all along.
The other thing...
I do have a bit of disappointment with it.
The other thing to point out, I suppose, is that this was never a conventional story about domestic violence, because you had the element of the murder. You had Theo murdering Billy.
Yeah.
And so from a soap justice perspective, he has to die because he's a villain and he killed somebody. And...
But does he?
Okay.
I know. No, you're right. That's what usually happens. But why do they have to... Just because that's a usual thing that happens, that if a bad guy kills someone, they have to get killed... I mean...
So are you moaning about what we just saw then? You didn't like it?
No, I'm not moaning about what we just saw. I'm just telling you, because this is how I started this bit of the recording, saying what was your initial reaction to finding out that Theo was the one that was bumped off. And yeah, there was just a little bit of, okay. I suppose on the plus side, we get to watch more Megan, don't we? We've had a joyous year and a bit of Theo, and we didn't like him at first. We thought he was boring, but as the months went on, it was like, he's quite fun to watch. He's pretty devilish. He's a horrible character, but as with lots of villains, often an entertaining one to watch. And we've only had Megan since December, is it? 4 or 5 months in, and Beth Nixon is so good. And part of me is thinking, great, we'll be able to enjoy her devious, smug smarminess just for a little bit longer, and then when she gets taken to trial, which again I assume that is going to happen, I don't know, but I assume it's going to happen, it will be all the more satisfying to see that smile wiped off her face, I suppose.
Theo and Megan feel like the two also that had an ending in sight for their stories. Like the vultures were circling.
Yes. Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, I would say the same for Carl.
But Carl could have just gone to Germany.
Yeah, but it's felt like he's due a trip to Germany for many months now, and the only reason he's not come back is because he's not gone already. Is because he realised that he was going to be involved in a murder mystery story. He really is hanging around more. He's overstayed his welcome, hasn't he? But I mean, do you think, having watched tonight's episode, do you think that there's a chance that Carl could die?
Yeah, I really thought that he was dead.
It didn't look good for him, did it?
Didn't he just code?
Yeah, but we've all seen people be brought back from worse than that on TV and film before.
Well, you have to say, time of death,
yeah.
Lardy-blue.
It wouldn't surprise me maybe either way at this point, which is in a way quite exciting for what's going to come on Bank Holiday Monday, which is good because we get a day, even have to go through a day of work before we watch Monday's Corrie.
You'll have to watch it without me.
What? Oh yeah, you're going around your friend's house.
Oh, is it in the morning? We can watch it.
Yeah, we'll watch it in the morning if we want to. Maybe. So yeah, because I'm assuming that Carl's end is in sight. I don't know, dead, but it would just upset Debbie so much, wouldn't it? That's the downside.
I know, but there's
Carl
the drama
being dead.
of will she remember that she had a son? Will she remember that Carl was evil? Will she remember that Carl is dead?
Well, eventually she won't.
I know, but any of those things she could remember or forget.
In the short term, she would be absolutely devastated by it.
Well, the worst thing is that clearly Ronnie's got some kind of hand in it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know whether you saw this message that I think Chris posted to us on Twitter about half an hour ago, because obviously I think both of our top theories at the moment is that the person responsible for Theo's death is Miles. We said that earlier on the podcast. Chris pointed out...
I hope it's not true.
I really hope it's not true, because that is the biggest cop-out. But equally...
We spoiled it now.
Well, no, sometimes we guess things right and sometimes we don't.
I know.
If Corrie wants to dangle these big clues in front of us and somebody returning for no apparent reason for one scene, people are going to wonder what was that all about.
Doesn't take a genius.
That scene did not need to happen for anything else, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, Chris said, what if Miles also dropped the car on Carl? Because the scene that Miles was in, yeah, I know, Carl, that was when Carl was going, we had a great time last night. And that wound
Yes.
Miles up, didn't it? So Miles has got every reason to have dropped that car on him. And then it means absolves Ronnie from any injuries that Carl sustained. He was just trying to take him to the hospital.
Yeah, because he says to him, as he's driving him, didn't he say something like...
Yeah, he said...
you don't very often get a second chance.
Yeah, it's not often
mistake.
you get a second chance. I don't make the same mistake.
Twice. So when you watch this, you think, oh, he's saying, I've got a second chance to get my revenge on you. But maybe he's saying, here's my chance to redeem myself because I attacked you the first time.
Yeah, and I left you there.
And this time I'm taking you to the hospital to help you because bloody Miles has crushed you. Which also makes it if Carl dies, at the very least, if Carl doesn't die, at the very least, it is a homophobic murder.
Yeah, that's true.
Hate
that's
crime.
true.
If he kills both two gay characters.
Oh, poor Danielle.
Well, I don't know. She seemed very homophobic herself. She might be proud of him.
Maybe Miles did one and Millie did the other one.
Come on,
maybe
Mills,
they
get your
teamed up
hands dirty,
together.
love.
Yeah. See, Corrie
Oh,
wants us to be looking at one ginger, but actually it was another one.
I'm starting to think that's it now, and I'm really mad that if it's true, because I don't want to ruin it for people.
Look, I don't.
But then I've been really certain of things before, and
exactly. That's why I'm not worried about it. We have been very, very certain about things in the past that have turned out to be not true at all. But yeah,
I hope that's not true.
Having somebody like Miles turn out to be the murderer is just, that's so modern Corrie, isn't it?
Well, it's especially...
It's like Stephen Reed. You're going to kill off these characters that we don't really even know or care about. And then let's bring in these characters we don't really know or care about to have some drama and we can still keep our core cast. No. It's much more exciting if it's somebody that we know and care about and have known about for a long time who does it.
Even though that we knew this was going to happen, it would be frustrating if the entire motivation for the murder was something that happened the day before. We've had weeks and build up and like theorise. We knew this was going to happen though. We said all along, doesn't matter what you think's going to happen because it'll be something in the final week that you couldn't have predicted. And if it is Miles going, right, I don't like the fact that my dad's in a gay relationship and he killed both of these people.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if it is him. What's he going to do now? Like, whoever the murderer is obviously going to be... knows they did it and is going to be on the run. But if it is Miles, we won't know. We won't know he's on the run because we haven't seen him.
Yeah, exactly. He could run wherever he wants because the circles that he goes in are not on screen.
And the first time we'll hear of it is probably Danielle going, "Where's Miles? Have you seen Miles? Oh my God."
He might not necessarily go on the run. He might... think that he's not been seen, that he hasn't been caught on CCTV. We don't even know yet whether or not Theo was murdered, whether it was an accident, whether he was pushed.
The other thing is, yeah, it could be true. The other thing is, if he's already killed Theo and Carl, if he decides to become a psychopath because he's in a soap, he could go after Todd next.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he thinks I've got nothing left to lose, they're going to find me eventually.
I'll get him to Thailand quick. Tell you what. I mean, there's going to be the funeral, isn't there, for Theo coming up? Will Todd want to go to the funeral?
No.
Probably not, of his husband. But, the Silvertons will all be there, won't they? So I would think that we'll see Danielle, Miles and Millie again. And if Miles is looking shifty there, because he has returned home, because he thinks he's got away with it.
Here's another point.
If this isn't Miles, this is theorising for nothing, but...
I know, but it's fun. If it is Miles... No, sorry. It doesn't matter. This is completely irrelevant to the rest of that, but related to the family. Todd is married to Theo, which means he inherits anything that Theo owned, which means half of Danielle's house... Does it belong to Todd now? I don't know how that works.
No, because Theo and Danielle got divorced.
Yeah, they
I'm
would have
guessing
sorted it
Danielle
out. They
got.
would have already. Yeah, you're right. They would have already.
But no, not. But
But still, some of Theo's
assets.
things, really, you'd think Danielle would be like, "That's my bloody stuff, actually."
Yeah, that's my Le Creuset set. What are you going to do with that?
You know, you're going to make butternut squash risotto with courgettes in it, like he always used to do.
Yeah, there's definitely some strong storyline possibilities spraying out of this. Although I'm going to say, I think it's going to be, a couple of months tops, and then probably Gareth Peirce will get a bit of a breather.
You can go to Thailand if you want.
He can go to Thailand in real life because he's been working jolly hard recently. Shall we kind of run down?
Oh my god, we might
run down the episode and see what other discussion points come out of it. I don't know whose turn it is. Is it you?
It's your turn.
Is it?
Yeah, you can do it.
Because you're tired. I did the last one, but I'll do this one anyway.
You're in the mood. You're in the mood to do it, and I'm not.
Why are you not in the mood?
My adrenaline's run out, and now I'm crashing.
Let's get that right back up again. So Friday's episode starts, and I was, for some reason, ready for the same start as the rest of the week with Toy driving around, but that would have made no sense whatsoever because we knew everything that was there. But it did have its own soundtrack anyway. But I think it was. Oh no, did we write it down? No, it was somewhere else.
It was what Sam was listening to.
Yeah, you're right. No, there was this background ominous music for a lot of the first few scenes, and to be honest, it took me a few minutes to even realise it was happening because I was so gripped by this.
You went, I've just realised there's music
on.
Playing.
It's like, damn it, they've got me at last.
I can't complain about it because I didn't pay attention.
The first shot of the episode is Todd being chased by Theo. Tell you what, that wall with the rave posters on the 80s rave, that's been a well-trodden street. They're all just
something going on there.
Treading over the ghost of Seb in that wall, aren't they? Because that was where they filmed that scene. But anyway, he's being chased by Theo. Then we cut to Maggie shoving Megan against the wall. And this is all too early in the episode for that to happen, I imagine people watching this would think. And Megan's still kind of crowing about this abortion that she had, saying, yeah, I took mercy on the baby. And Maggie's there. He literally holds her over the top of the stairs, doesn't she? And Megan's like, you'd never do it. And Maggie says, oh, I've done it before. And it's like, that was a proper, that's the most evil villainous. That is a confession.
That's the first time she's confessed to doing it.
But it is odd because, again, watching that flashback episode back in November, it was 100% ambiguous, I'm going to say. Maggie... Well, it was an accident that Maggie was there for.
You can take it as she's trying to intimidate Megan, and she didn't actually, like, she was just goading her.
That's how I took it.
She doesn't believe that she did it.
That's how I took it because I.
But she could still think she did it even if she didn't do it.
It was it wasn't premeditated, was it? Alan's death. It was,
I heard you can kill your spouse if it's just spur of the moment.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, if you didn't think about it beforehand and you just, whoops, down the stairs, oops, stabby, it's just fine.
Thank goodness we live in a bungalow then, because at least that's half of the options there that you can't
I'm going to push you down the decking steps.
Okay, so then Will shows up, which is this is the bit I remember seeing on the press day, and he's telling them to stop. Then you got Todd going into the precinct. I'm wondering where is the precinct in relation to Coronation Street now? I don't know. I don't think Coronation Street knows, but he's there anyway. Hides out in Scally's alley. Maggie then tells Will about the abortion.
They're all arguing. Maggie and
tense.
Megan are arguing about the baby, and then Megan insults Maggie, and Maggie goes to sort of make out she's going to push her. When Will turns up, this is when Maggie tells him that it wasn't a miscarriage and that she knows that it was Will's baby, not Daniel's baby.
But Megan's still denying this, of course.
Yeah.
We also discover who Jodie encounters in the precinct, and I was totally wrong earlier on the recording, wasn't I? Didn't remember. It was Lily that turns up there, who's just a bit upset about her leaving. And again, how close is the precinct to Coronation Street? Because Lily's been wandering around. How old is she? Too young to be wandering around that late at night following Jodie to the precinct. I was under the impression that it was a little away, just from how when Billy was running when Paul died, when he ran from the Freshco's to the hospital.
I don't think
he
they
did a
wanted
tour
to think
around
about
Weatherfield. I know we're not supposed to think about that. And also when Carl ran over Tyrone last year, they were driving around a long way before they reached the precinct.
They really did.
But
Go
maybe they just took the
houses.
scenic route. I don't know. Anyway, don't want to ruin that for anybody. We don't particularly get much of that with Jodie and Lily, do we? Because I think Corrie quite rightly didn't spend too long on that character, because I think they probably realised that we would think that it wasn't her that was bumped off.
It was quite funny that it was Lily that found Jodie in the precinct, and Jodie, the cliffhanger for Wednesday's episode was Jodie saying, "Oh, what do you want now? Please just leave me alone." And it was very ambiguous. I've forgotten her name.
Who?
Olivia, who plays
Who plays Lily? Grace?
No, who plays Jodie?
Olivia Frances Brown.
I'll give her props for being very ambiguous in her delivery of that line, because it felt like she was
Talking to
resigned to a fate, and you didn't know what that fate was. But actually, she was just like, "Oh, bloody hell, the kids there."
Kids again. Okay, so we've got back to Megan then, and saying, "Look, Will, who do you believe, me or this psychopath?" And she basically just manages to free herself, walks down the stairs, and that's the end of that.
I mean, if we thought about it for any length of time, which I confess I didn't, we would know that it didn't really make sense that Megan would get pushed down the stairs by Maggie, and then they would carry the body and dump it in Todd's back garden.
Well, this is what I wasn't sure about, because as I think we said this earlier on the recording, Pauline MacLean told us at one point in the filming she had to lie on the ground looking dead, and from that I assumed that Maggie gets pushed down the stairs. So for the past 3 weeks, I've been assuming that Megan pushes Maggie down the stairs. So when Megan walks off today, I was thinking, hang on a minute, what happens here? Is Will going to push Maggie down the stairs? It turned out it was nothing like that, and it was a completely different place. And I'd been thinking, so if Maggie gets pushed down the stairs, then that's not going to be her. So I quite liked how they toyed with us on the press day a little bit, and they didn't reveal everything so that we were even still guessing. Although obviously by now a lot of the press will have seen this episode, I guess, early, because they get them early. But
I think it was very interesting, and I wonder if they regret that they did this to put the scaffolding up at all, because it really anchored that discovery in a very specific part of Coronation Street that they couldn't really make ambiguous, or they decided not to make ambiguous. Would have been absolutely very easy for them to just have had Betsy next to some, wall that could have been any wall.
They could have just not shown that picture. They could have just not released the picture of Betsy screaming with the scaffolding, and people would have gone into the episode.
But they did it on...
Last week they released the picture of Betsy screaming next to the scaffold, and that was the first time that people knew where she found the body.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people went, "Oh, it's Theo then," and I was like, "Oh no, they've screwed it up."
They did a little bit. They did.
Well,
but yeah, Theo could have just put a ladder up, but I assume that this confrontation with whoever his pusher was had to be outside on the scaffold. But I'm sure there could have been other ways around it. Anyway, Maggie is sort of chasing Will around the precinct, isn't she? And he's still
she's not chasing him. She's trying to talk to him.
Yeah, she's just trying to persuade him that this baby, you admit it, the baby's yours. You've known that the baby's been dead, and every time it gets brought up, your heart's been breaking, and you've not been able to, confess your true feelings about it because you're stuck in this secret with you and Megan.
And also saying, it's not love what you've got with Megan.
Yeah, you're just a child. You don't even know what love is. And Will's like, he calls her a two-faced witch, doesn't he?
Someone else had said bitch in that episode, so he couldn't.
I know. 2 bitches in 1 week.
Normally there's more than that on Corrie.
Not uttered bitches. Anyway, he says, I don't
Utter
care.
bitches or uttered bitches.
He says, I don't care if I never see you again. And that's the last time we see those two together. But I don't think it was the last confrontation that they had that evening, possibly.
Oh dear.
So also this episode, early on, we have Toya being led into a police car on the street with Sam watching on through the window of the flat. Because he just lives with Leanne now, apparently. It's so funny that we didn't see any of Nick. Was Nick in it at all this week? I don't think so.
He just donated champagne and kept out of it.
We haven't had Toya and Nick's flats for I don't know how long since the Institute story. But I tell you what, they had Roy's bedroom. So anyway, he's watching through the window and he sees Toya being led off and he has a moment, doesn't he? He puts on his headphones. He listens to Ordinary by Alex Warren. I love that scene, and I thought that was some. He didn't have to do much this week in terms of appearing in many scenes, but I thought him sitting down there, and the camera lingers on him for quite a long time, doesn't it? And for a young actor as him to sit there for, 10, 15 seconds, without a huge emotion, just like almost a dead expression, wasn't it? Because his whole life and world and brain, he feels, is fallen apart. He doesn't know what's reality anymore. I really, really am looking forward to seeing what goes on with Sam. Maybe that was a bit of a disappointment this week that we only got to see that of him, but I guess that's to come. Do you still think that he's going to... I suppose the whole thing of... Lots of people thought that Sam would see the body or think that he's seen somebody else, which obviously he wasn't out there to see it. But yeah, I think that you're right. This whole hallucinating, did he see Megan being hijacked by the three girls? Is that going to come into it? I don't know. But anyway, that was all good. We get Betsy and Lauren returning to the street at that point. Lily walks past having a bit of a cry. Nothing really happens there.
They've gone to town and they've come back early because they don't have their ID.
Yes.
And so they're bickering and kind of like Lauren's giving Betsy a hard time when they see Lily and they're like, "You alright?" And she's like, and they're like, "I don't really care."
And then they take a very, very, very slow walk to the other end of the street because it doesn't appear again till the end of the episode. So Shona sees David outside the house and tells her about Toya being arrested and also about Megan as well because she needs to tell Nick.
Because Shona was having this conversation with Toya in the bistro, and this was when Eva and Leanne have already been arrested and taken away by the police. And so during this conversation they take Toya away and Shona's like, "Great, I don't have my phone, I've got to tell Nick about it, you do it."
Yeah, exactly. But while all this is going on,
he tells him about what does she tell him about Megan?
Oh, she tells him everything that Toya had been saying about.
Oh, I kidnapped Megan and slapped her in the face.
I think so, maybe. I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, while this is going on...
She does. Yes, she does, because she makes this big speech going, "I can't believe this psychopath infiltrated their family and ruined everything, and now look at the consequences." And it's like, she obviously could have been talking about Jodie.
Yeah, that's right. Meanwhile, behind her, that psychopath was infiltrating herself back into the house under cover of darkness.
I don't know if she heard her saying that and thought she was talking about herself, but I'm not sure.
Oh, well...
I think it was just ironic for...
Shona isn't Jodie's favourite person already this week. I don't think overhearing that would have made much difference to what she thought about her. So Jodie's sneaking back into the house. Speaking of which, we also have Summer letting herself into Todd's flat.
Let me just say, before you get any further, that Shona's tirade prevented David from revealing his liaison with Jodie.
Oh, yes. That's still to come next week, isn't it?
And it wasn't like a normal soap, let me tell you first. Literally, I'm not sure how we could have jammed that into the conversation. But I also don't know why he didn't just get in the car with her and go and see Harper. Because at this point, I'd be like, I'm fed up, let's go see a boring baby. At least she can't kill anybody.
Right, so Summer is in Todd's flat, and then Theo pops out.
Hello.
And this is Theo's final scene alive, isn't it? This is the last thing that we see of him. And he's still menacing to the last. He's like, looking for someone. And she says, "Where's Todd?" Only God knows that. And he takes her phone, doesn't he? And then chucks it out the window. and that's it.
But also, Summer comes into that flat and she picks up a watch off the side, and I assume this is Todd's watch that he that he threw away.
Oh, did he? I didn't see that at all.
Yes.
So
he says this.
She? No, I saw him doing that, but I didn't see her picking up a watch.
Yeah, she picks up the watch. And I don't know, is this supposed to be her going, oh, goodness me, this is Todd's watch. Where is Todd? Or if she's going, I tracked Todd because I also have a tracker for Todd on my phone. And that's why I'm here.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think it's more... I think we're going to see more of this conversation.
Yeah, are we going to have a flashback?
I think that we haven't seen the last of Theo alive. I don't think. We're going to see how he died at some point, aren't we? Yeah. Otherwise, it's not going to make any sense. It's easier. It's easier to show us.
Well, I mean, Corrie these days would definitely say that, wouldn't they? Back in the old days, I'm sure they could have managed it without a flashback, but they just can't resist it anymore. He says something, I didn't write it down. As we were watching this episode live, it was speed typing from me, because usually we can pause and unpause and type a few notes as much as we want, but we wanted to be live with everyone else and tweeting along. So does he say something like it had to be the end of summer or something like that? I don't know if that was his last alive lines on the show. So
well, equally, where's Summer?
Well, so Summer is now. She's the last person that saw Theo alive. What do you think the chances are? And let's, forget Miles, who's our number one. How likely what are the odds on Summer at the moment being the murderer?
It's really annoying because I'm convinced it's Miles. Like, I would put £100 on it.
Oh, okay. I know what you mean. I don't think they'd make Summer a murderer unless Harriet Bibby wanted to leave the show. It's really hard. I just don't think of the I don't know if there is an official suspects list at the moment.
Yeah, I think there is.
And whether is Coronation Street going to do the same old thing of which of these characters was it? Haha, it's none of them. I think it'd be a real shame if Summer, pure innocent Summer, was made a murderer. And I know that he killed her dad and, it's justice and it's revenge, etc., etc. But that sort of thing really would haunt Summer forever. And I don't like the idea that she would do that and she'd be carrying that burden for the rest of her life, So...
Well, it does depend on whether Theo tried to attack her and she killed him in self-defense.
It could be. You're right. It absolutely could be a self-defense. I mean, it could have been that he chases her through into the bedroom. And they go up against the window and he goes out the window then? I don't know. Would you say it's more likely to be Summer or George? Because George later on, basically the story with George is he can't find Todd on the phone, can he? Christina offers to go and find him. She brings him back, and then as she's given George a reassuring hug, she notices that he's changed his jumper, which was a very kind of obvious clue line as well. Why have you changed your jumper? And quite probably it's going to turn out to be, I wanted to change my jumper.
Do you remember she got him a jumper as a gift?
No.
To cheer him up when business was about to fail.
Oh, no, I forgot.
And they had the scene of her going, "Here you go, George, you got your jumper." And I was like, why have they put that in?
Yeah, I do
Is
remember
the
that
jumper the smoking gun?
I think it was really difficult, again, watching the episode knowing who dies at the end, how many people saw that jumper scene, and for that confirmed, well, that's a blatant clue they're planting for George. George clearly dies.
If you watch this...
Sorry, Theo clearly dies.
If you watch this, the thing is, it does all point to Theo, because you've got... we know that for Carl, we know Ronnie was there, but we also know that Kevin and Debbie were together. So there's not very many suspects for him. Don't know where Abby was.
No.
For Theo, everybody's all over the place. It could be anybody. For Megan, either Toya and Leanne all got arrested.
Yeah.
Megan and Maggie and Will ran off together. So could have been them, could have been... killed her. Don't know where she is. We don't know where she is.
But the clues weren't pointing there quite as much as the clues pointing towards Theo.
Jodie had... Sarah was on the floor dead. Shona's gone to hospital, and David is just so super drunk. He could have been him blacked out killed her. But the thing is that the pool of people that possibly have done something to Theo feels like the largest.
But I mean, I suppose that maybe they just wanted to do that as subtly revealing, it's going to be Theo, and if you pick up the clues as you're live watching, well done. You're not going to pick up on this as you're watching it. You only realise after you've. Well, it'd be interesting to see what people think and what people said as they went along.
What do you think?
That was what was going on with Todd there, and again, some very lovely Todd and George scenes. Goes without saying. So we also had, where am I up to now?
I thought we'd only just got to Summer in the flat.
Yeah, we've done that. We've done George not being able to get hold of Todd. We've done all of that.
Oh, I didn't realise.
So then we get the Sarah Lou bonked on the head scene. Yeah, definitely.
I'm in Inkerman Street.
Yeah.
Don't change your jumper.
Yeah.
No. George hasn't changed his jumper at this point.
He hasn't. I skipped ahead. I basically summarised and said he goes off. Christina goes off and finds Todd, brings him back, and then he's changed his jumper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just brought that up because we were trying to say who out of Summer and George is the most likely second chance suspect. There's no way, not a chance that they're going to make George a murderer. Like 1,000,000 to 1. And I get that
but
it could be him because he's anti-Theo, but they're not going to give him.
It would be really funny and ironic if it was him because he's the one that's got the question mark with the hearse in the trailer.
Yeah, that's true. But no way, not a chance that they're making him a killer. Summer is more likely.
I'm fairly sure I saw a clickbait or somebody saying, oh, it's clearly George that kills Theo because he's the only other person in the trailer who isn't a suspect, a murder victim suspect. So it must be him that kills one of them, and the only person he would kill is Theo, therefore George kills Theo. That's the kind of logic that we operate on here, so I salute it 100%.
George is far, far, far too valuable to the show. Corrie knows by this point that him and Christina are gold on screen.
I hope they do.
Absolutely no chance that he has killed Theo. Not a chance in hell. Sorry. So we get to see the Sarah Lou bonked on the head scene. She gets called Sarah Lou like 3 times this week, doesn't she? It's like they suddenly remember that that's her actual name.
It's our influence.
It is. We made it happen. So Jodie's searching the Platt Lounge and finds a load of cash in some drawers. And then she finds this picture of Shona and David, which she smashes on the floor, starts trashing the place. I'm going to say she doesn't do the best job of trashing it. We've seen Corrie flats be completely ransacked before, and this was just pushing a few things off here and there.
It's because they told us she got to reset the set.
She said, make a bit of mess, but whatever you do, don't do anything that could potentially damage the Alf portrait or Vin Diesel the Weasel. So kind of rampage gently around these priceless artefacts.
Listen, love, these props are worth more than your life to me. You hurt a hair on that weasel's head and I'll have you.
Exactly. So then she hears Doggy David outside because Sarah's back from taking him for a walk. She scampers upstairs while Sarah Lou comes and finds this scene of devastation. Oh my gosh, we've been robbed or what have you. I think she goes over and finds Jodie's box on the side, doesn't she? And I can't remember whether she looks inside it or not before Jodie jumps up behind her and whacks her around the head. What did she even actually hit her with? I don't remember. But that was a nice shocky surprise for us. Like I was saying earlier, they showed us choice clips of this week, but I'm really to the press. But I'm glad that there was still some reveals that they didn't even hint upon.
What's this in service to? This is what's confusing me. What has Jodie done wrong? At this point, she tried to sleep with David, and now she's just gone mental, hasn't she? Like, she's just gone, oh, this is the end of it. There's nothing I can do to salvage this. I'm going to trash the place and bonk Sarah Louise on the head. Why?
It has made it less likely that we're going to see a redemption for Jodie. I kind of thought that...
Sarah's very forgiving, although normally it's only if she's shagging you that she forgives you.
Yeah. Before I knew what
crimes.
was going to happen this week, I did think that there was quite a high likelihood that Jodie is going to be integrated into the street, maybe taken under Roy's wing, but I think after what she did with David and definitely Sarah this week, less likely.
Maybe
Lose in prison for exactly what Jodie did today, isn't she?
maybe they can be in prison together and we can have more prison birds.
Prison buddies with Lou and Jodie.
Or
yeah.
maybe she'll team up with Carl as a pair of piranhas and they can be piranhas together.
Yeah, why not? Anyway, so Sarah's knocked out cold. Then we get Ronnie, and at long last in this episode, we get to cut for him because I was like, what's going on with Ronnie and Carl? And it looks like they didn't have a whole lot of material that they wanted to share with us for this storyline, but it was a really nice, again, very tragic and bittersweet scene where Debbie's leaving him this message over the answer phone, which he's listening to, with Carl dead, alive, not dead, because we see he's in the hospital later. Just sleeping,
resting his eyes.
zonked out.
He's like, all right, Ronnie, I'm listening.
Dreaming of Germany.
I'm not asleep, I'm listening with my eyes closed. You carry on, play that voice message.
It's basically, the long and short of it is Debbie kind of saying, like, come home, I need you, where are you? Ronnie, when my dementia kind of robs me of all my memories, please, can you just tell me the good stuff about Carl? I mean, it's going to be a fairly short conversation, isn't it, to be honest?
He had the decency to go back to Germany at the end. See, here you go. This kind of invalidates what I said before about Ronnie's meaning, I'm going to give myself a second chance and take you to the hospital. Because it feels as though he's been convinced by Debbie's message
you're right, actually.
to take him to the hospital.
Yeah.
Or maybe... Because really, honestly, if he'd already decided to take him to the hospital, what's he pulling over and listening to a voice message for?
Yeah,
so
what
time's
was he
of the
going
essence
to do?
now, Ron. You've got to get him into hospital before he expires.
No,
in
you're
the
absolutely
car.
right, actually.
But,
what was he going to do?
Well, we'll get to it in a minute, because there's more to this, isn't there?
Mm? Oh, yeah. So we see Carl spike out on the back seat throughout all of this, and Ronnie is
resting his eyes.
And Ronnie is really wrestling with his conscience about what to do here.
And you know what the thing about Ronnie is that he's excellent at wrestling because he's got big muscles, so it takes him ages. If he's wrestling with his conscience, it takes him hours.
Yeah.
Who wins?
You decide. Eva and Leanne get released from prison. They're having a little sit in the waiting room.
They're not in prison.
Go for police station.
They've been questioned.
Leanne's no commented through the whole interview, and Eva says, "You know what? If this goes to court, we'll be forced to talk about Megan, and maybe that's what could see her taken down." And Leanne's like, "That doesn't really.
It actually doesn't work like that at all."
No, but
as we all know, famously, my experience being a court reporter for like a day, I went to a trial where a whole family was on trial for killing a man, and they couldn't say the reason, that the motivation for the murder was that he was a paedophile who had molested the youngest daughter of the family, and that was the entire reason the whole family attacked him. And without that very important piece of information, the whole thing was incredibly baffling, I'm sure, to the jury. Because it's like, what would cause these people to do this? But you weren't allowed to mention it because it was a previous crime.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't bring up the fact. They wouldn't allow them to bring up the fact that Megan had done this.
Do you think anybody would be able to stop Leanne when she's on there just from screaming it from the rooftops? And the judge should have to say, "Jurors has to disregard that comment."
Here we go, got to do it again. And we were doing a special TV show for Amazon as well. We've ruined a television show and a court case.
Anyway, this is where it comes up when Kit pops round and says something new has come to light in Megan's files.
No, but this again didn't make it... This makes about as much sense as saying, we'll get to call her pedo in court. Kit's like, do you know what? Turns out you can beat her up because we found some evidence or something.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
I don't think it works like that either.
Yeah, there's a clause here that says if somebody is found to be a paedophile teacher, you can do what you want with them.
It's actually really weird because it's been on the book since 1265 and nobody's changed it. That's lucky, isn't it?
So David and Shona find Sarah on the floor there. David calls the ambulance. They bog off to hospital.
It is really funny that that Shona says, "I was worried it was the blokes who've come in," and that is how, like we said earlier,
they were
credited as
blokes.
the blokes. So is that an in-joke? I don't know, but it was funny.
That was funny. I forgot this scene until it just popped up in the notes. Ronnie scrubbing the back of the car.
I was going to say that. That's why I said there's more to this.
Yeah, he's dumped Carl at the hospital, we find, don't we? And he doesn't want there to be any evidence that he's been transporting Carl, so he's given it a good old clean. I don't know how much it works like that. I think the forensic techniques would probably do a better job than whatever Carl has got secreted. Ronnie has got in his little spray bottle.
Do you think he did a Kill Bill on Carl and pull him out of the boot and roll him down a snowy bank to a hospital?
Yeah, probably. Did a Sophie Fatale on
Yeah, Sophie Fatale ended up.
Maybe.
How could he have got him to the hospital anonymously? I'm sorry to say this. Ronnie is incredibly distinctive. He is a black guy with enormous muscles who's very good looking, carrying a half-dead squashed man in his arms. Gonna be a bit obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's at night. He can just do it. Well, he did it. I don't worry too much about that. I don't know whether we kind of the flow of the podcast has just kind of been ruined by this episode because it was working so well when we were sticking with one story at a time. We're just jumping back and forth. I don't know whether it's worth just saying, and the only other thing that happens there is we see Carl in hospital later. A couple of nurses are saying, he was mysteriously
found in a car park. He's like Moses.
Oh no, he's crashing. And then they start to do the whole heart compressors on him, and that's the last we get to see of Carl.
Yes.
He's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. I think that if they'd wanted to have him dead, they'd have killed him on Friday's episode, on today's episode. I think he's going to be fine.
I would like it if someone else dies.
Just as an extra twist.
As a little treat.
A little treat. A bit of extra business for George, and that's what stopped Shuttleworth from going under.
Yeah. Now I'm really starting to suspect.
Yeah,
I don't think Danielle would let him be treated, but who's in charge? It must be Todd.
I guess so. Yeah, George can give him AIDS rates.
I'd be very loath to pay more than the cost price for Theo's
You can have a cardboard coffin.
They're probably
and a
more
quick
expensive
cremation.
than you think they are.
Do you reckon?
Probably. You know what life's like now.
We get to see David and Shona in the hospital waiting room at A&E, and she tells...
So they do go together.
Yeah.
Well, he could have brought it up then.
He could have done. He's clearly still wanting to keep it a secret because when Shona disappears off, he gets this voice message from Jodie, doesn't he? Saying, "Oh, David, sorry I knocked you back. We got to keep it a secret from Shona." Yeah, and Jack B. Shepherd, who has just been so funny all week, the expression that he was pulling as he was listening to that voice message, absolutely priceless. That was the weasel of a brother Lewis Archer expression that he pulled, wasn't it? So he's going to be keeping that secret. But I think if Jodie is going to be hanging around, I think probably she might be the one that reveals it to Shona.
Yes, I think so. Just
to try and put a dampener in that. Gemma, the Todd story, nothing else happens there. Gemma's just reminded me of the Todd story, but this is literally Todd being brought back in the whole jumper changing scene. We've talked about this already.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing happens there.
Can we just say, so Christina hugs George and says, "You've changed your jumper." Who says it's been a long day?
George.
Okay.
I changed my jumper because it's been a long day.
You're making it longer by doing unnecessary chores.
It's changing a jumper a chore.
It's boring. Anything to do with getting dressed or having a shower or anything is boring. Boring.
That's why you just walk around in the nude all day, isn't it?
Well, yeah, you just got to put the sheets down on the chairs. I think that Christina's done it.
Done what? Bumped off Theo?
Because she's like, "Oh, it took me ages to find Todd because he was hiding." Did it? Or was it because you were killing Theo?
No, it's fine.
Christina.
Right, Will gets back home, tells Eva he's just been out for a walk, and no, he hasn't seen his Nana. Speaking of which, Maggie is found out cold in Victoria Gardens by two girls who don't scream because they're very level-headed. They just look at her and go, "Oh, is she all right?"
Yeah, they're very chill.
Yeah, but I suppose Betsy was just a little bit more out
strung.
of it. Highly strung and out of it because of all the booze she's consumed that day.
But nobody deserves to die like that.
No, whatever it was. I said to you earlier off air that I think it wouldn't surprise me if the first scene on Monday's episode is Betsy being interviewed at the police station, and the place where it cuts off on the original Flash Forward episode, we get to see what she's saying. Like when they ask her, did you know the victim? We'll get to see what her actual response to that was, I suppose. Anyway, so yeah. So what do you think has happened to Maggie? Are we just assuming this is Will here?
Yeah, we'll give her a bit of a knocking about.
Well, I mean, he did it with Daniel, didn't he? So he's got form there. Who's really could attack Maggie here? It's either Megan or it's Will.
Ken.
No, not Ken. Don't be so ridiculous.
I'm in it now. I'm in this episode.
I don't know who I'd want it to be. Rather, I do feel sorry for Will.
Ben.
You're just throwing names out now.
No, I'm not. These are all relevant to the story.
Ben did not leave his mum dead on the floor. Near dead, possibly dead.
Daniel, Will, Megan, Ken, Ollie,
Sam,
Mel.
Nah. I don't know. It feels like we're supposed to think it's Will.
And it probably is.
But why would Will say that he hadn't seen his nan?
Because he thinks she's dead. Because he's mad at her.
Yeah, no. If Will hadn't left Maggie there,
yes,
why would he have covered up that he had that confrontation with her? Because it's going to come out if Maggie comes back home.
Because the conversation was about the fact that he slept with Megan and had a baby, and the baby got aborted and wasn't a miscarriage.
Yeah, but he never admitted anything.
I know, but he's not. Why is he going to bring it up? At this point, you just don't want to talk about it. You know that Megan and Maggie aren't going to talk about it, so it's like, nothing happened. I just went for a walk.
Okay.
I ain't got time to explain it. It's the end of the episode.
That's what went on with Maggie, and then obviously the final scene was, it had to be you, Betsy, wandering through the scaffolding, finding the body, having a bit of a scream.
A hilarious, ironic
It's Theo.
use of the song. It had to be you. It had to be Theo because of all the reasons I explained.
I don't know whether I don't know if this is the same for everybody else, but it wasn't really as obvious as it could have been that was Theo on the floor, was it? Because it was very dark and we saw like a bit of his face. I think that there's going to be some people who have to have it spelled out to them. It was Theo. I'm going to say I did. Because we were shown this on the press day. I didn't know who it was. I didn't get a good enough view of the body. And it wasn't until Alison Sinclair then walked out the front and said, so it's Theo. That was me finding out that it was Theo, even though I just watched it. So I think they possibly could have done a better job at showing who the victim was there, don't you think?
They should have covered him in a coat and sent him down the river.
That's not what I asked, but okay. Did you know it was Theo when we saw it the first time? Do you remember?
No.
Okay. Has this discussion just come to a natural end at this point?
Yes.
Are you a bit knackered or something?
What do you want to talk about now?
I don't
We're
know.
At 4 hours.
Oh God, but are we? Okay. So, I think,
we talked about this so much already.
We've theorised, we've reflected.
Theorised.
We've reflected. We've said that we really enjoyed it. I've got a few nitpicks, but really, this week was one of
the best weeks of Coronation Street in a long time. I thought this was great. I can't ever give Coronation Street 5 out of 5. I just can't do it.
I know. I'm the same. I'm thinking, was this a 5? I have never rated. I think you have. I think you've given some 5s.Rebecca will be able to tell you. I've never given Corrie a 5 but I don't know what would make it a 5. And maybe if it had been characters that were a bit more important to the show, maybe if there'd been, I don't know, I just loved it. I loved the single thread episodes. I don't think there was a down point during the week. Yes, there were some problems in the, contrivances of people leaving their phones around and I think if you look under, you give it a bit of a careful look at with the microscope, you were going to pick plot holes here, and not everyone has enjoyed it. Definitely not everyone's enjoyed the fact that Theo's the victim here when he should have been taken to court. But for going into the week, I knew that it was going to be this format. I don't think that they could have done very much else to have to have made it any better, really. It was what I wanted it to be. And so often when I go into a week anticipating it, there'll be something that I'm feeling let down with and go, this bit was good, but that, I wasn't keen on it. Or, it built up really well in the first half of the week, but then the second half of the week, it went downhill a little bit. And honestly, I didn't get that this week. I loved it. Today's episode, again, we knew what the big reveal at the end was going to be. So maybe that did spoil it just a little bit. And my overall impression of this tonight's episode was there wasn't anything huge. There was no twists for me particularly, apart from Sarah Lou getting bashed on the head, maybe. And Maggie, no, I really, really enjoyed the week. But I'm going to give it 4.5 sexy sweet shops out of 5. I just can't do it. I can't give it a 5, and I don't know what could ever get a 5. What are you scoring?
I'm going to give it 4.5 rose tinted blinkers, which was funny.
What was that a reference
I can't
to?
remember, but I was like, that's silly. And then they said, that's
Sexy
silly.
sweet shops is such an easy, low-hanging fruit to score out of. I'm very sorry, everybody, but we are a little bit tired having been speaking for the last 4 hours about this.
What's the character?
Another option was going to be badly dressed cops, because I quite like that line of Megan's where she was like, good cop, bad cop, badly dressed cop.
Who was that reference to?
What?
Toya? I thought it was Leanne.
No. Toya's the badly dressed cop.
That's not true.
She's got very lovely floral outfits.
Toya's my character of the
week. Character of the week.
Megan.
It's really tough because it was such an ensemble cast, and there weren't really any characters that span the week, were there?
Theo
didn't span the week. We barely saw him
I'm
after
coming
Monday.
up with ideas for my character of the week.
Okay.
I'm not listening or talking to you.
Okay. You carry on.
Megan.
Is that Megan. What you're saying?
Megan is my character of the week. I just think she's evil as heck, but I liked how she stood up for herself. She had a really crap week. Well, it wasn't a week, it was a day. But she had a very bad day, didn't she? Everyone was having a go at her, but she still maintained that girl power that she needed to escape the situation. And I bloody hope she got that sweatshirt off of Charlie after all that.
I'm kind of leaning towards David, actually, for not having a massive horse in the race. He was still...
David, yeah, he was quite funny.
He was kind of funny throughout the week.
Yeah, he got to kind of...
He got to dip his toes into quite a few of the episodes.
He was sort of, navigating his way through.
Yeah. In my head, maybe he didn't. I can't even remember now. Did he appear much on Monday, Tuesday? I'm not sure. But I loved him. I thought it was so funny, and exactly what this week needed, which was full of darkness and murder and suspicious and all that kind of stuff. It's really tough on a week like this. But I think, I'm going for David. But honestly, I don't think there was anybody on the cast that let the show down this week. Everybody played their A game, didn't they? Maybe I'm not too fussed about Mel at the moment.
Mel.
Yeah, but, everybody was awesome. Summer was great. George was great. Todd, Theo, Carl, who I don't usually like. Kit was better than I usually like. Sarah, from what little we see of her. Everybody was on their A game. And I'm sure that, I've not looked online particularly to see that many reactions for the week or today's episode. And I'm sure there are corners of the internet where people are picking holes in it. But my genuine feeling of the week is I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and well done to everybody involved. And I hope it continues the same momentum, because whenever you have these big weeks, then you have the boring hospital scenes and police station scenes afterwards. And I hope that it doesn't fall off a cliff. But we're not judging next week and what that could be. I'm saying that this was a great week. So there we go, 4.5 and David for me.